All right. Welcome back to Take a Shot podcast. Was this episode 5?
5.
Episode 5. All right. Let's do it, boys.
Episode something.
What do we take a shot of? Jägermeister?
Jägermeister.
All right.
Jäger and Red Bull, baby.
Okay. So
Yep.
we wanted to do a deep dive of NFL as far as off-season winners, who we have, as far as who had the best off-season, maybe who had the worst off-season. And then we also want to give our projections, like as of right now, because we're recording this at the end of May. We want to give our projections as far as where we think the teams will end up in the standings, as far as like playoff standings, and then who we have actually making it to the Super Bowl and actually winning the whole thing. So, as far as what's happened since the last time we talked was after the draft. I'm trying to think. Has any
Chiefs signed a left tackle from the Buccaneers from last year?
Oh, that's right. Donovan Smith.
Donovan Smith.
Yeah.
Yep. They also brought back Jerick McKinnon.
Good moves. Yeah.
Yep. But major NFL moves, not really anything. We're kind of in that dead period.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nothing major is going to happen at this time.
Yeah. Okay. So let's just. I mean, I'm cool with this. So let's just talk on the top of your head. Who had the best offseason so far, in your opinion? Whoever wants to start.
Well, I'm going to take the low-hanging fruit. Like, if you look at, like, who did the best to improve their football team, it's got to be the Jets, right? You improve the... Yeah, I know, you're probably over there looking at your notes and like, oh, shit, I picked the Jets, too. But, like, you improve the quarterback position, and that's, you know, if you improve the quarterback position in the NFL, you're going to make some big strides.
Yeah.
But they also added some weapons on that offense. Got in Alan Lazard. Who else did they bring in?
They brought in
Randall
Randall Cobb.
Cobb.
Yeah, gotta have him. Yeah, for his like 20 catches this year.
Well, and then obviously, yeah, all the draft picks that they had too as well.
So I think, you know, it's easy to see the Jets making a big momentum forward. I don't think they'll be as good as what a lot of people think, but they're going to be a playoff team, and that's a big win, I think.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, who do you have?
I think the Eagles. I kind of feel like where they left off last year in the draft, what they've done, you really just kind of re-signed Jalen Hurts now to lock him up and everything like that. There's not like they got rid of too much talent off of that team.
I feel like they lost a lot of talent on defense.
Well, I mean, what you got? Like you lost Miles Sanders. Who else did you lose?
They lost Hargrave, that defensive tackle. That was one of their best defensive players last year. Didn't they lose a corner too? Didn't Bradbury leave?
I don't know if it was Bradbury. They lost Gardner Johnson.
Johnson, yeah.
So and so I felt like they kept the main pieces, but then once again, like you said, they lost the defensive tackle, but didn't they just draft what?
They did.
Projectedly almost the number 1, number 2 draft pick in the draft
Carter.
this year.
Yeah. No, you're right. So
just little things like that. I mean, I think like I said, Miles Sanders. I mean, I feel like in the offseason, if not,
he went to Carolina, right?
Yeah.
Just a lot of these teams, I feel like you can always pick up a halfback.
Yeah.
You can always find
Well,
somebody.
they did. They got DeAndre Swift too.
Right, and with the trade and everything like that. But
Yeah, they definitely.
I like that pickup.
Yeah,
But even then, just the aspect of the halfback, it almost seems like nowadays, unless you're Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, even Derrick Henry, they're kind of a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
You can always pick somebody else.
Isaiah Pacheco, 7th round pick.
You can younger, healthier, more hungrier, so on and so forth. So, I feel like the Eagles kind of picked it up.
Okay. If I'm giving my honest answer, because like I said, I don't want to copy anybody, but at the same time, I got to go with the Jets because I think they're going to have the biggest jump in the standings for what they were last year to this year. Just getting a competent quarterback. I don't care because I don't think they need Aaron Rodgers to throw for like 5,000 passing yards. I think they need Aaron Rodgers to just be competent, not turn the ball over. And then, like we talked about before, if you can get 21 points a game with that defense, you're putting yourself in position to win. Doesn't mean you're going to win every game, but you're putting yourself in position to win. Zach Wilson doing like 2 turnovers a game, getting sacked all the time, not throwing the ball away, and not putting up any production. That's the reason why they only won 7 games last year.
Does it concern you at all? Because obviously, what's his name, the head coach for the Jets?
Robert Saleh.
Yeah, Robert Saleh. Does it concern you at all? Because I think, like, I heard this the other day, when it's defensive kind of head coach minds that have to, purely rely on a quarterback that's he's that good and to thrive on the offense. what I'm saying? I think we've only seen it in a handful of times throughout the history of the NFL. Like, obviously, Bill Belichick's defensive minded. You know what I'm saying? He got away with Tom Brady, so on and so forth.
Tony Dungy was defensive minded. He let Peyton Manning and Jim Mora basically run the offense, and
I
that
think
worked
if
out.
you have that really strong offensive voice, whether it be a coordinator or a high-ranking coach, then you can get away with that. But
Who's
It's Hackett, but the thing is, no. But here's the thing: I'm not saying Hackett's
saw
a
how
great.
that went in Denver.
I just wanted to bring that up to you. I just wanted to bring that
Here's
up.
the thing:
I know-
Hackett's not a leader of men. He's not a head coach because he's not a leader of men. But what he can be
So then what's
is
he doing there?
because him and Rodgers are on the same page as far as how they want the offense to work. So if your lead offensive coach, which in that case would be the offensive coordinator for the Jets, if him and your quarterback are on the same page and your quarterback is someone of Rodgers' caliber where we can trust him. I mean, I know he had a down year last year, but we can trust that Rodgers is going to do what he needs to do, take things seriously, and get production. I think you can be Robert Saleh and go, hey, I'll let you guys do offense. Now, if it was unproven quarterback with unproven coordinator and you're a defensive head coach, I think that's a problem.
Well, yeah, because we saw it with Zach Wilson.
Right,
We
exactly.
saw it with
Exactly.
every single almost
Exactly.
quarterback.
Yeah.
And so that, I guess that was just my topic and reason to bring that up
Yeah.
to you because, it's all like now you have to rely on Aaron Rodgers and Nathaniel Hackett.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, I think most of the time, just like, certain other organizations, they're relying on Aaron Rodgers,
Yeah.
and not so much Nathaniel Hackett. I think more along the lines of Aaron Rodgers is going to call something, and that Nathaniel Hackett's just the guy to agree with him. Like, oh yeah, that sounds
Great
great.
call, buddy. Great call, buddy.
Hey!
No, I agree with you. I don't.
And so I didn't know if that was a concern to you because, like, obviously, look at the Chiefs. Andy Reid's offensive minded, but in the same sense, we've let him go with Eric Bieniemy. I mean, what we just brought back from the Bears head
Nagy.
coach. Nagy.
Nags.
There's a lot of things that Andy Reid
Nags
can.
and Spags.
Andy Reid can, you know what I mean, like rely on his offensive coordinator. If not, Andy Reid doesn't have to call every single play, but
Yeah.
he's prototypically offensive minded, and that's where we see the Chiefs and their success at.
You went with the Eagles, and I was really surprised because I thought I had your pick pegged. I thought you were going to jump on the Bears as your winner of the offseason because you were pretty high on them making a pretty big jump this year.
Oh yeah, I still do.
Yeah. I think their offseason was a good offseason. I mean, maybe an honorable mention to the winners and losers. You want to go in reverse order for the losers?
Yeah, we can do that. I'm just trying to think of exactly who my loser is going to be, but I think I can do it. Okay, my loser is the Washington Commanders because you didn't solve your quarterback situation. You're rolling with Sam Howell, who's unproven. You don't have a whole lot of talent around him. You have Terry McLaurin and like Jahan Dotson and who am I missing? Curtis Samuel.
Curtis Samuel?
He's not even there no more. I thought.
No, he is.
Oh, is he?
Okay, so you got three decent receivers, but you don't have an answer at quarterback. Your running game is okay. Your line.
I like
okay.
the halfback.
Gibson?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Robinson.
Yes.
Oh,
Robinson.
yeah, the rookie from last
yes.
year.
guy that
I'm not.
shot.
I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie.
Yeah, he's got some talent. Yeah,
Fantasy.
yeah.
That's the number one. I'm going.
I got to give them a failing grade because they didn't solve their biggest need, which is quarterback, or at least bring in. They brought in your guy Brissett to be like his competition.
Yeah, but are you
okay.
really?
Yeah, Jacoby is a great backup in my opinion. He's a great backup, but if you think your starting quarterback's going to get hurt, Jacoby's great at that. What he's not great at is
Being
Jacoby,
the guy.
You might beat out Sam Howell.
right.
Yeah, like-
exactly.
And that's worst case
Yeah, and
scenario
that
for
is
the Commanders.
Yeah, that's the worst scenario of this. Is you bring in a guy to compete with the starter to be all like, okay, it's going to push the starter. Now you're bringing in the guy to compete
probably
with the
could
starter.
just beat
That's
him
like,
out.
Oh, maybe he is the starter.
Yeah,
actually.
There's actually probably pretty good odds that he does beat out Sam.
And I guess my thing is if Jacoby does win the starting job, I feel like they're pretty much going to be what they were last year, which is like 7-10, something like that.
Granted, not to knock on Brissett, like I said, a lot of quarterbacks that I like, Teddy Bridgewater, blah, blah, blah. I feel like it's that injury, man. If it wasn't for that injury, these guys would be a lot better than they are. But yeah, at the point where Brissett,
I just think he caps you where like
Yeah,
you only have a
yeah,
certain
yeah,
amount of wins you can get with him. And
the way the Browns were projected last year and so on and so forth with
Yeah.
the talent and that's what you got out of him.
yeah, and
it's all like
and we all didn't love that first round pick that they had, that cornerback Emmanuel Forbes from Mississippi State.
Yeah.
What?
Now-
You got some new news on him?
Well, maybe not new news, but new news.
oh, his ankles got skinnier.
There are a lot of hype talks. There are a lot of hype talks coming out of Washington around him and how he is wowing in early season.
Well, they have to. They have to.
but it's
They
not. It's
have
not
to.
just coming out of Washington. It's national.
Okay,
it's
but
the
is he
national
actually
perspective.
tackling people yet? Probably not.
It's the ball skills. You know?
I'm sure the ball skills are great, but I'm just concerned when he has to tackle someone, his leg just
But once
I don't disagree.
I think it's the same.
Because he weighs what I weigh.
It's the same thing that we all said, though. It's easier to be on that type of like, the highlights that we had saw were dead ducks being thrown up. When your defense is tackling a quarterback and he has to get rid of it, and he's just lobbing it up there. That's where we saw the highlights from him, and I'm all like, well,
weren't
I feel like
impressed,
we could do that.
I would like to say that I'm as smart as an NFL GM, but I'm probably not. So there's probably something that they know that we don't. Maybe they can bulk them up. They can do something.
I think we all could talent scout. I think the thing that makes the GM so smart is them knowing how the contract and the CBA works and all that kind of stuff. That's the stuff that we don't know. But yeah,
So right here, right now, I'm calling it. Commanders, they're either going to be bottom
or
three.
the commandos, as you call them.
Commandos, yes. Commandoneers, whatever
Yeah.
you want to call them. I don't even
Commandoneers,
I don't
that's
even-
what it should be
the
called.
command
I don't
eyes.
give a shit. There actually used to be another team I learned the other day that used to be called the Commandos. They're actually not the first commanders or whatever.
I hope that name gets changed with the new
I think it
owner.
was a hockey team. I can't remember. But anyways, I'm calling it right here, right now. And I think I said it the last time. They're going to fall. And they're going to have one of the worst records.
agree, yeah.
They're going to be either bottom 3 or bottom 2 or even the worst team. And like I said, next year we will see the Commanders draft Caleb Williams.
That's what I was
I'm
getting ready to
calling
say.
it. I am calling it now.
I'm pretty sure what their game plan was
Yes.
they didn't get one of those top quarterbacks, and they were like, well, we're gonna go
'Cause you can't-
winless for Williams.
You can't watch Sam
Yes.
Howell. I think he started one game last year, the final game. You can't watch him in that one game and go, we're good. We're settled at quarterback.
No. I think they realized they were in no man's land, and what they really should have done is when they had the opportunity to maybe get a Lamar Jackson, they probably should have jumped on that.
No, I think we were all in agreement that, like,
Yeah.
Lamar didn't make sense for every team, but for the Commanders, like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah. Like,
But
But
you
then
know,
once again, I mean, the trades and what I'm saying, they're not even picking up the 5th-year option of Chase Young, this and things like that.
I thought they should have taken a flyer on Hendon Hooker. Not in the first round, but I'm saying he was available in the second round. It's like you could have just.
but then you're kind of putting yourself in that no man's land.
I think Hendon Hooker's got great upside. I think you just you know he's not going to be available this first year, but I think it just gives you that extra insurance of like, look, this guy could turn out to be great value for a second round.
If you're looking long term, where you think,
Yes.
okay, I'm gonna take a flyer on Hendon Hooker, or I could be in the top 5 next year and maybe get Caleb
But you could do
Williams.
both. You could draft Hendon Hooker, and if you guys really suck again, you could still draft Caleb Williams and then possibly move on from Hendon Hooker.
Oh, he suck again.
Anyway,
I feel
All
like
right,
they.
Jeff, who's your loser?
I feel like they've been in no man's land,
They have
obviously,
been.
since Alex Smith.
yeah, no, you're right because they started really good that year with Alexander. I think he started 6-3 or something like
Could
that.
maybe even say
Even after he came back
even
from breaking
before
his
then.
leg,
Yeah.
he was still pretty good.
Yeah.
Who's your loser?
Yeah, I mean, the command. It to me when I first see it and I can analyze and I can look at all so on and so forth. It's the Commanders. It's purely just the Commanders. I'm just like I don't know what you did with your first round, so on and so forth. I mean, even teams that we saw with like Detroit, how they traded, they got got rid of DeAndre Swift. They drafted a halfback. I don't even know what they did with.
And they had a better second and third round than because the first round we didn't love, but
exactly,
they had a better second
and it was
third
just
round.
weird things like that where it's all like, oh man, like thumbs down. But overall, yeah, it's the aspect of the Commanders because once again, I think they're going to tank.
They don't have anything going for them,
Yeah,
really. That
nothing.
defense fell backwards. Like, they weren't as good as they were a few years ago.
The fact-
Chase Young's...
The only thing that I will give you that aspect of is Chase Young is going to be the most healthiest, if not the most dominant.
Contract year is
Yes,
undefeated.
exactly. Contract year is always undefeated.
That's
so.
the true, yeah.
That's the only
to be
thing
like,
that
you still have
I
something
need
or not.
money,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, like I said, if you tell me, hey, name a guy on the Commanders right now, I couldn't tell you.
No, I'm sure you can name
Chase
it.
Young,
Yeah, you just did.
Emmanuel Forbes.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like
Sam Howell.
the average.
Jacoby Brissett.
That's what I'm saying.
Mon-
us. It's-
Montez Sweat, isn't he?
Oh, Montez Sweat. Oh, oof, blowing my mind.
Chris Cooley still plays.
No, no.
I feel like after the draft, you can go to like 10 people, 20 people, and be like, name me one player from the each team, and somebody would figure out a way. Especially with like the Texans, teams that were really
Oh
bad.
shit, that guy doesn't play there.
Oh,
anymore.
CJ
Yeah.
Stroud, so on and so forth. Like the Commanders, somebody would bring up the Commanders. Were like, I thought that was an NHL team.
They don't play in the minor league
And so,
soccer
yeah.
team.
Once again, I mean, getting rid of Dan Snyder, they're wiping everything.
Did you see what they sold for?
$6 billion.
$6
Was it
billion
that?
dollars.
Which I think that's just a precedent of if you're going to sell a major, because that's a major market, I think that's what the deciding factor. But honestly, hypothetically, let's say the Chiefs got sold tomorrow, like Lamar or
It's not more than that.
Clark Hunt. It's not more than that, but I think because of Mahomes and what the value that he's brought, I think we'd get like 4.5.
Yeah. But what's
roughly
crazy,
around like Denver. Denver
Yeah.
did. I think Denver.
What's
got-
crazy is think about like one of those truly premier teams. Like I think about like Jerry Jones and the Cowboys. If they were like, "Hey, we're going to sell tomorrow," like Jerry's,
$8 billion probably.
yeah, it's got to be up there
because they're the franchise in the NFL that's worth the most.
yeah, yeah. But $6 billion, you get $6 billion. Feel pretty good about that.
Who's your worst?
The Packers.
I like this pick.
I was not happy with what the Packers did this offseason.
Okay,
And this for me it's a building thing, right? You think about, okay, what have the Packers been doing for the last couple off seasons? They've been playing this dancy-do with Aaron Rodgers for what, 2 or 3 seasons now? So you're like, could you have done something 2 years ago, last year, that keeps Aaron Rodgers there for his entirety of his career? Instead, now you're going to end up in what we just talked about, no man's land. You're gonna roll Jordan Love out there. We've all seen that didn't work. We've seen Jordan Love.
But
But
have we seen it on? We saw it on the sample size.
I've seen enough of Jordan Love to know it ain't gonna work.
You know what I'm saying? When you're going to Texas Roadhouse, you're like, give me the sampler. You know, give me the blooming onions, whatever it is, this and that. You're not getting the whole actual entree, so on and so forth.
I saw like NFL level quarterback, but I didn't see like this guy is our franchise guy. I didn't see that.
And that's what I'm saying. And if you don't have that franchise guy,
Right.
you're in no man's land.
Yeah, and I agree with you that I don't really feel like they.
And,
don't know.
but here's the thing that if you're a Packers fan would piss you off more than anything. What would you say is one of the biggest reasons that Aaron Rodgers was done with the Packers outside of him just being Aaron Rodgers
I was about to say because he's Aaron Rodgers.
from a football standpoint? What did the Packers never do for him?
They never drafted any offensive help for him in the first round. They never did.
They never gave him weapons.
No.
They never went out and got a weapon.
or they really didn't even draft him like linemen in the
No.
first round. Yeah.
What did they do this year in the draft? Obviously, their first pick was Lucas
Like
Van
they
Ness.
got like 2 tight ends in the like two of
They
the
went
first 3
tight
picks.
end. They went receiver.
And they got another tight end. They
Yeah, and
drafted-
then another tight end.
Yeah.
So they loaded up on offensive
It does
talent.
seem weird that they basically were like, "Sorry, Aaron, we can't help you out."
Yeah.
Go on
Oh,
defense,
you're gone? All right, we're going to bring in all this talent.
I'm sure he chuckled when he saw that.
Yeah. So I was not impressed with what the Packers did this offseason at all.
Well, I mean, in the same sense, though, I mean, what all did we offensively wise draft in the draft this year
For Mahomes?
For Mahomes.
We drafted a wide receiver and offensive tackle with our second and third pick.
Yeah.
Okay, but do you think that offensive tackle is starting?
Probably after signing Donovan Smith, no.
And then,
But he gives us good insurance.
But what did we do last year with our second round pick? We drafted Sky Moore.
So once again, we're not talking
Humphrey.
about
And
Devontae.
Creed Humphrey.
We're not talking about Donald Drivers, Devontae Adams, great wide receivers that are coming from that organization that they have drafted. Correct?
Sure.
They didn't sign.
Christian Watson might have that ability.
Yeah.
And then once again, this whole comparison of like, oh, they didn't draft talent for him. It's like, yeah, they have. It's all like, besides drafting Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, and they weren't first or second round picks. It's all like, if he's that good of a quarterback, then lead the team.
I get what you're saying, but I think what Brown's saying is like, yeah, they did get Devontae and Jordy Nelson, all that kind of stuff. They did have guys, but I guess it's like you probably had a higher chance of hitting another pick to give him even more help if you would have been drafting guys.
You
in
have
the
to throw
first
those
round.
darts every other year to find that offensive talent.
And that's fine, and Brady, he did that his last season at New England. You know what I mean? He was all like, hey, what the heck? Say, I want weapons, so on and so forth. And the Buccaneers literally.
Well,
They were like, here is an arsenal.
Right,
of weapons
2019
for
when they started that year, they had Antonio Brown, Gronk. That was the year he retired, so he wasn't there. But they had Antonio Brown, Julian Edelman was still there. I forgot who they had as well. But
I'm pretty sure they drafted N'Keal Harry pretty high
I
around
don't-
that same time.
They had other weapons where I basically, at the time, I was like, Patriots going to win another Super Bowl. They're going to go back to back. They didn't. They lost in the first round to the Titans. But anyway, I was worried about that team that year. But when you look back on it now, yeah, and Antonio Brown only played like 1 game and then he was out.
I just don't like the aspect of like Aaron Rodgers. Oh my God, he's so good. But in the same sense, the Chiefs are doing that right now. They're doing cutbacks. They're signing guys to 1-year deals. They're getting 7th round halfbacks.
but they're still bringing in talent to some variety. They've used a top 60 pick on receivers the last 2 years. That's a big investment.
Okay, but in the same sense, we had talked about drafting a wide receiver in the first round to support Mahomes to replace Juju Smith, so on and so forth.
Sure.
There's no expectations that you can tell me right now that, oh man, Sky Moore, all these guys besides Travis Kelce, there's no one on that wide receiver list that you're all like, you know what, that guy's a pure number one besides Tooney, maybe MVS.
Sure.
Maybe. And that's like,
But
But what they're doing differently is they're still throwing darts. They're taking opportunities, and that's what the Packers didn't do. The Packers didn't take those chances.
I felt like they took
early
those,
in his career. Early in his career.
but you couldn't do it with a Devontae Adams. And I don't think Mahomes or any organization has had the luxury of those types of players in that organization with that type of quarterback. And once again, I feel like a lot of it is just Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers want to be Aaron Rodgers, and I get it. That's fine. It's just like Peyton Manning. You know what I mean? Like Peyton Manning had Hall of Famers go throughout the list. You know,
Sure did.
I mean, the tight end. I can't remember. I think it's Shockley or
Nah, it was
what's his name? God damn it.
Dallas
Clark. Dallas
Yes.
Clark, Reggie Wayne, you know, say Marvin Harris, even Edwin James, you know, like you can't
Brandon
always
Stokely.
Yes, you can't always get those guys in the draft, and you can't always sign those guys because of cap space, so on and so forth. I just feel like a lot of times it's like, yeah, organization is just done with a dude.
I think in the beginning, and I agree with that. At some point, the Packers were like, okay, we've got to move on. We can't keep doing this.
Right.
But I still feel like over the last couple off seasons, they could have done more.
They could have done, yeah.
to keep Aaron happy, because when you have a generational talent like that, like I hope we never get to that point with the Chiefs, that the Chiefs are like, or that Mahomes is like, you guys aren't doing enough for me. You're not bringing enough talent in here.
I guess it's maybe just my expectations, but I kind of feel like, you know, even when they drafted Jordan Love, what was it, second, third round, and Rodgers kind of complained like, hey, we could have took a tackle, we could have took something.
Those are the things that would piss me off if I'm Aaron Rodgers and if I'm a Packers fan. Like, okay, you're getting my replacement, and I'm 35, 36 years old, and I like they had to have had conversations about, Aaron, how much longer do you think you're going to play?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
do you think that Aaron was like, oh, I could be done next year? Actually, I could actually see that conversation going that way with him.
Right.
But let's shift gears here, and
Well, before we shift,
Go ahead.
Just one more point on that aspect, because, like I said, when they drafted Jordan Love, it was almost like,
Yeah, it's been
you know,
fresh for a minute.
a lot of people had said, you know, like, oh man, that's a slap in the face, so on and so forth. When did they draft Jimmy Garoppolo for the Patriots?
2014.
2014.
And how many more Super Bowls did they win after that?
Sure.
3.
But what the
And
Patriots
then won the
did,
Super Bowl that year that he got drafted.
Exactly.
but what the Patriots did better than anybody is they played the long con with these quarterbacks. They would draft these quarterbacks in the second or third rounds, and they would show little snippets of them, right? Yeah, you like it?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
They would show little snippets of them, right? They did it with Garoppolo. They did it with Ryan Mallett. They did it with Matt Castle. And what did they do? They turned those later to mid-round quarterbacks into high value.
You know, that's a really
Picks.
good point. I mean, not with every backup, but yeah, they did with a lot of backups. They were able to get like really good value out of those.
So, you know, if you're looking short term and you're Tom Brady, you're like, I'm pissed. Like, you just used a second round pick on Jimmy Garoppolo. You just used
He was pissed. He tried to get him traded early.
You just used a third round pick on Ryan Mallett. But what did the Patriots do? They turned those second and third round picks into first round picks. They turned a seventh round pick in Matt Castle into a second round pick.
But didn't they get 2 seconds for Jimmy G, or maybe it's just 1?
I think they got 2 seconds for him.
Yeah, something like that.
So they just created more value down the road. They were playing the long game with those guys.
But I agree with Jeff. I agree with both of you. Like, I see your point, but then I also get like,
Yeah, and I just wanted to play
Yeah,
devil's advocate, because obviously you can't have an elite organization that just, like the Chiefs or like, you know, the New England back in the day, drafting these guys and just turning them into instant starters or all-stars or Hall of Famers, so on and so forth. I mean, the Packers did what they had to do. I mean, obviously there's a cap space, there's circumstances, there's, you know, trying to play for the future, but and also trying to win a Super Bowl now. I mean, not everybody's perfect. So in the same sense, the fact of like how everybody just wants to, you know, oh man, Green Bay, you know, they did Aaron Rodgers dirty. I think at the end of the day, they kind of had to look in the mirror and look at themselves and be all like, is Aaron Rodgers that dog? Is he that guy?
I think it worked out for both, because Green Bay felt like with what the roster they had, basically they just were like, all right, if we ran it back, okay, we might make it to the divisional round, but we're probably going to lose. And if we do make the NFC Championship game, we're probably going to lose. So they didn't have a whole lot of faith that like they could actually still win a championship anymore. So it might as well reset.
Right. In the same stance, when Peyton Manning left the Colts ain't winning the Super Bowl next year.
They became
you might as well just
they became a dumpster fire the year that he sat out and had his neck injury.
And then what did they get? They got
Andrew
Andrew
Luck.
Luck.
Yeah.
Well, and he retired. This
Yeah.
and that,
But
right?
are we ready to move on?
Yeah, let's talk division winners here. Let's talk about
Okay.
who, you know, an early look. Obviously, a lot could change between now and the start of the season with injuries, some trades, some late season acquisitions, or what was the other thing? accusations.
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 Yeah, we never know. We could have an Alvin Kamara
hey.
situation. Someone
Hey,
could
we
have
could have maybe the Detroit Lions. Just stop betting on MGM.
So let's start on the NFC side.
Okay.
And let's start in the NFC South. There was a lot of movement in the NFC South this year.
You got to give me the teams.
So we've got the Saints, the
Okay,
Bucks,
so then
the
the
Falcons,
and the
Okay,
Panthers.
and the
okay.
Panthers. A lot of movement.
Did
down
you all
there
see
in the
that
South.
Bryce Young video where he looks like a 5-year-old with
So
his
a
offensive
lot of
line?
them were Photoshopped, but yes, he is. Yes,
He's very small.
He's very small.
Hey, Kyler Murray made it work. So
Kyler Murray's a little more stout, but I agree with you that yes.
Doug Flutie?
Yeah, Doug Flutie was.
who?
Doug Flutie made it work.
Yeah.
Guess who was also short that won a Super Bowl for the Kansas City Chiefs? Rest in peace.
Linda Austin? Was he that? No, I feel like he wasn't that
He was
short.
only 5'11".
What?
Huh, how
Are
about
you
that?
serious?
Yeah.
I'm
I
gonna
had a
trust
whole
you.
list to bring up to you guys. And be all
That's like-
hey, look at all these short
That might be the
quarterbacks.
best like info you've ever like.
That's you
Drew-
pulled that.
I
I
mean,
guess.
Drew-
I was gonna say Drew Brees is.
Well, he
another
gets all
one.
the
Drew
all the
Brees,
credit, but
like I said,
I did not know Lynn.
Okay,
Dawson.
I'm gonna-
Lynn Dawson is like 6 foot at. It's like at his max is 6
yeah, I'm gonna
foot.
look. I'm gonna look this up. And
Yeah.
if you are correct,
Yeah.
got to give you major props because no one ever talks.
Like I
about
said,
Lynn
look
Dawson.
it up. Look at short quarterbacks that were successful,
especially in
the league.
that era too.
Yeah.
So
'Cause- yeah, go ahead.
let's make our picks here for the NFC South. We'll start in the middle this time. Jeff.
I just really like what the Saints, you know what I'm saying, out of all the teams out there that have kind of like, depleted, had to re-sign guys, revamp their offenses. I mean, granted, I love the aspect of Bryce Young playing out there because I feel like it's a nice division to kind of start off in your rookie career. But once again, I just feel like, yeah, with all those teams and everything, Derek Carr is going to get you. That's with cleats.
No, but that's fine.
with
Yeah,
cleats.
6 foot. That's still considered a short quarterback. You are correct. Yeah.
So, anyways, Derek Carr would have been once again 3-4 years going on, passing to 4, if not over 4,000 yards again, unless they benched him obviously this year to get something out of him, trade him, blah blah blah. But I just love the Saints, man. Putting it all together, the weapons, so on and so forth. I mean, I just like the Saints in that division. Granted, in the same sense, my sneaker in that division will be, I ain't gonna lie, kind of like Atlanta.
Do you
I like that run game.
You like Desmond Ritter?
No, I love Robinson.
I get all that, but
Bijan.
I get. All
I just love the fact that I think you said it last time. The offensive coordinator is such a run heavy and such a good run heavy coach that they will find a way with Desmond Ritter, Bijan, and then Kyle Pitts. Who else? Drake London.
It's basically Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson.
I just
Well, they got Tyler Algier running the ball. Too.
Yeah, the
They
running
still
backs
got
are good.
Cordell
Cordell
Patterson.
Patterson.
And if those two teams can take advantage of, a rebuilding year with Bryce Young and the Panthers, and then obviously, I'm not trusting Baker Mayfield on that Bucks team. That Bucks team is just they're
Okay.
yeah.
So I agree with what you're talking about with the Saints. Very similar to what we talked about earlier, where if you get your quarterback, you've made a big improvement. And the Saints went ahead and did that. They went and got their quarterback in a weak division. They went and got their quarterback in a weak division, so they found somebody who can step in and be a leader and lead that offense to some wins.
Yeah.
Now, I look at that division. What does that division lack right now? Firepower at the quarterback position.
Yeah, this is the most unproven quarterback division by far.
Yeah, if you're looking at it right now before the season starts, it's a weak quarterback division.
Yes.
Probably the weakest in the
Yeah,
NFL.
it is.
So I start looking at what Jeff was just talking about with like the Falcons. I think the Falcons can play the run game to their advantage, and they can win a lot of division games because even with a Derek Carr-led offense, you're not worried about that team outscoring you in a crazy shootout. They might put up some points at some point, but they're not going to, crazy outscore you. So if Desmond Ritter can come in and be a solid game manager, not turn the ball over, and they can run the ball, they've added some pretty good pieces on defense. They brought in Jeff Okudah. They brought in Calais Campbell. Like, they brought in some pretty good pieces to that defense. So you start looking at what they're doing. I like Atlanta to win this division.
Okay, I just want to ask you real quick, and I'd like to do this for each division. If you had to rank the teams in the NFC South, if you have Atlanta winning it, where would you have the other teams falling? Like, who gets second in that division, who gets third and last?
I would probably put the Saints second.
Okay.
And then I would put Carolina third and the Bucks in the basement.
Okay. Jeff, I want to ask you the same question. So, if you had to rank the teams in each division, like we're on the NFC South, if you had to rank them, you had Saints winning the division.
Yeah.
Where do you think the other teams fall? Second, third,
Probably
last?
Atlanta, then probably. A part of me might be biased because of the fact that I just like Bryce Young so much, but I think probably it's Saints, Falcons, Bucks.
Oh, you
and
mean?
then
I thought
probably-
you said. I thought you were meaning Panthers third and then Bucks last because I thought you said you like Bryce Young.
Yeah, but
you-
realistically,
okay,
I
okay.
think Panthers will still
Okay.
be the fourth team. It takes a lot to just
Yeah.
be that guy.
So in fourth place, I have the Panthers, and it's
Yeah.
well, actually, hold on. Yeah, I got to give them that
because at least Baker has that somewhat, and he's got Mike Evans.
Well-
He's got some talent, and he has at least that experience.
I think Bryce Young's going to have some growing pains.
Yes,
That being
exactly.
said, I do think as far as like how bright is the future, I think the Panthers probably have the brightest future.
Yeah.
But I'm not confident that he comes out year one and is like lighting
He's
it
not
up.
Mahomes. He's not.
No, and,
yeah.
and the size, like I said, the size worries me. So until I see it, I'm like I'm not 100% sold on that.
Right.
Third place, I'm gonna go the Falcons. It's not because I don't like their roster or their weapons.
Yeah.
I just don't trust Desmond Ritter yet. I can't trust him yet.
Yeah, that's-
I didn't see anything from him.
understandable.
I think he started like 4 games for him, 5 games maybe. I didn't see anything from him that would lead me to believe, oh yeah, that's your guy. Or that
Right.
even like what Brown was saying was that like they could rely on their run game and win some games. I agree with that, but at a certain point, I feel like the defenses are going to be like, all right, show us that you can throw the ball, and I'm not sold on that.
I got you.
Second place, surprise, I'm going to go Saints. So
Wait, who did you pick to win?
No, not
which leads
yet,
me to
not
first,
yet.
which is the Bucks. I'm gonna ride with Baker. That team won the division last year. Granted, you've mentioned this in the previous podcast. Carolina was basically right there. I mean, it came down to like a tiebreaker kind of thing. But yeah, I had the Saints finishing second mainly just because their salary cap situation is still bad. So they're not doing great with that. That's the whole reason Sean Payton had to leave and get out of there because he was like, we can't sign anybody. We can't really make a whole lot of moves.
Right,
It was
right,
restricted.
right.
So that team is older. That's the thing. That the Saints are older. The Tampa's old too. I get that. That out of all the teams, they are kind of older. But I'm just gonna, if I have to pick between Baker and Derek Carr, I'm gonna roll with Baker. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm gonna roll with Baker. I think he's got a lot to prove. Big chip on his shoulder. This is Carolina. He was going to a young team. This is like a veteran team that I feel like, I don't think Tampa has a whole lot of incentive to tank because their roster is not so bad where they can just be like, we're getting Caleb Williams next year. I don't think that's
Right,
going to happen.
right.
So I think if they got Baker and he's going to win the job, which I think he should, I think, now don't get me wrong, this is going to be the worst division, but I think with like an 8-9, 9-8 record, they
Yeah.
win the division. But I still think they're the worst of the division winners.
So
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't it in that division? I think we talked about it before. Unless Brady changed it, Brady might have changed it in the last couple of years.
Are you talking about every year there's a new
Yes.
division winner?
Yep. Yes.
Or Tampa didn't win it the year they won the Super Bowl, but the last 2 years they won it.
And granted, I'm not trying to like purely, ESPN stat this to where, this is going to happen. But once again, I think in that division, it's not. That's not saying like, that's my full reason, but that's partially why.
Yeah, this division is never.
I don't think without Brady, they're not.
Isn't it kind of shocking that like the Saints, did they not win back to back ever? I guess not.
I don't think so. I think that they were a wild card a lot. Oh, hey there.
What are you doing?
I think they were a wild card a lot. I'm trying to think of who would have been up there with them. Probably the Falcons with Matt Ryan.
I mean, they were consistently in the playoffs, but yeah, and then occasionally you'd have Carolina with Cam.
Yeah.
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 And then Tampa, yeah, they really didn't do anything until they got Brady. So yeah. Okay, so that was the NFC South. Which one do you want to go to?
let's
next?
go to the NFC East.
Okay,
So that's what the
Eagles, Cowboys, Commanders, and Giants.
Yep.
Okay, who wants to start with this one?
Jeff started last time. I'll start.
Okay.
I think this is kind of a no-brainer. I think the Eagles are the most prepared team. I don't know if no-brainer is the right word because I think that the Cowboys probably could give them a run for their money just as they did last year. But it comes down to who are you trusting more at coach and quarterback. I'm going to trust in Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni more than I am in Dak Prescott and Mike McCarthy. McCarthy,
but I kind of like McCarty.
So I'm going to roll with the Eagles winning that division. I think that they're set up to go on a pretty big run this year.
Okay. And I guess, like I said, I just want to ask for each of these divisions. Who do you have second, third, and fourth place?
Cowboys second.
I'll go Giants third and Commandos fourth.
Yeah, I think we can all just say we're in agreement. The,
Yeah,
Command-
do we have
the
to say
Commandos
fourth?
the Commandos are going to be in the
Commandos.
basement. They're going to be in the
We
basement.
even have to say fourth. I don't think so.
Get to the job.
Okay.
Look at
I guess since you start, I'll go next. So, fourth place I have the Commanders. Third place I have the Giants, and I think there's a race between the top spot. And I'm actually going to say the Cowboys win the division, but it's very close. And I have the Eagles as the wild
hot
card.
take.
Yes,
hot take.
I think the Cowboys. I think they did decent in the draft. Honestly, they really didn't have that many holes. I thought, but I thought they addressed some things. And then, yeah, I just think it's hard to duplicate what the Eagles did last year to be that good. So I think there's going to be a little bit of a comeback down to earth. But that being said, I still think they're a great team. And I think, honestly, in the playoffs, I feel like it'll be a flip a coin, which team you like better. But I do think the Cowboys are still going to be really good. So, yeah, I'll say Cowboys in the division, Eagles wild card. Or I gave that away. Eagles second, Giants third, Commanders fourth.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with Caleb, and if not borderline, I'll agree with you on the aspect of, yeah, I think just that sophomore slump of actually being in the Super Bowl, I think it hurts a lot of more teams.
It's expectations, really high expectations.
Exactly, like Atlanta when they lost to the Patriots. There's a lot of teams.
Carolina with Cam.
Yeah, you can see a lot of teams that it almost hurts the team, you know what I'm saying, that was the runner-up.
I think the Rams missed the playoffs the following year. When they had Jared Goff, I think they missed the playoffs the following year. They just missed the playoffs this last year.
Maybe.
So, yeah, NFC, it's not normally.
And that's what
The Niners, they were injury-riddled the year after they went to the Super Bowl.
Once again, the Giants have the hardest schedule out of this season.
Yeah, it's tough,
by
'cause
far.
they're not
they
even-
have at least 7-8 games, I think, on the way away until they finally get to
And
home.
they're a fine team. Like, they've built up that roster to a certain degree, but it's like it's just too tough. And like I said,
Yeah.
I think we all agree they're the third best team in that division. And
yeah.
it's like,
well, and then I just once again, it's all like, oh, you see one nice, decent year out of Daniel Jones. Do I completely trust him in the future? No, of
no, I
course
still
not.
think he's like middle of the pack. At
He's
best.
definitely third. If we're ranking it purely based on that, yeah, it's Jalen Hurts, it's Dak Prescott, it's Daniel Jones, and then Sam Howell. So on and so forth.
Jacoby Brissett.
Sam Howell is a big drop off.
Yeah. So, and that's how I would rank it. It's once again the Eagles. I think just because of that coach, the organization, what they did in the draft. Granted, it seems like I always kind of see that too when they sign that quarterback for that year, big contract. They almost kind of take a step back. It's not they almost are like maybe we shouldn't have signed this guy for this type of money, so on and so forth. But yeah, just looking at everything, I don't think the Cowboys did anything in the draft or.
They basically just like kind of filled some holes here and there and
Right, they're
upgraded.
just-
But they're minor upgrades. But I think the main thing is like, can we all agree they lost to the Niners in the playoffs? That game was within reach. I think they only lost by like 7. It's basically, can you fix the offense?
Well, and then I guess it's just expectations too, because it's all like, okay, this has to be at least at some point for them. Hey, is Dak going to put us over that? Or are we just going
And
to
I think this is the
This
make
is
or
the
break
year.
year. Where basically, if
It has to be.
if they can't make it past the division round this year, I think that's when the Cowboys go. We need to start looking at the next quarterback.
So on the same sense, like Caleb said earlier, contract year, blah blah blah. This is the year for Dak. So if Dak
He
doesn't
can go
step
make
up,
himself a hell of a lot of
yeah,
money this
if
year.
Dak doesn't step up, then obviously, yeah,
which is a reason why I have them winning the division because I think Jalen's. We talked
You
about
don't got Zeke no more.
Well, Jalen has high expectations, but I don't think he's under pressure to like go and win the whole thing because people are like all really high on him, which deservingly so. Dak, it's literally like I think he knows, like we just talked about, the whole Cowboys fandom. Everybody is like,
Yeah, Jerry
Dak,
Jones,
this is it.
everything, yeah.
This is it, man.
Yep.
But I would probably put it that, yeah, Eagles, Cowboys, and maybe just because of the records and how they get into the playoffs. I mean, the Cowboys, like I said, it doesn't always take the number one team in that division to always win the Super Bowl.
Correct.
So-
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say Eagles, Cowboys, Giants, and then obviously the
Commandos.
Commandos.
Let's head on out west.
Okay.
So in that division, we got the Rams, the Seahawks, the Cardinals, and
Niners.
the Niners.
That one's tough. I
That-
think.
Somewhat. It really depends for me is like what are the 49ers doing at quarterback because there's a lot of reports and a lot of talk out there that Purdy's not going to be ready to start the year. I don't know that they're going to go to Trey Lance. There's a lot of talk out there trying to get 49ers fans prepared for Sam Darnold starting the year at quarterback until Purdy's ready to come back.
Which, in their offense, they don't do a whole lot of deep passes.
He might
So
be okay.
He's okay. I mean, I still am not a big fan of Sam Darnold, but like he's got some mobility.
Huh?
Because there was a game, I think it was like a Thursday night game or Monday night game when he was with the Jets, and he did like a 70-yard like touchdown run. So it's like he's got some wheels, Yeah, I think he possibly could work in that offense because it seems like that Shanahan can make just
He can
about
make
any.
just about anybody
I
work.
was just about to
I
say
think
that,
he can
yeah.
make them function in the offense. Now it's like Trey Lance is the guy that basically I feel like can be transcendent in that offense, but we'll have to see.
Transcendent like that hairline. You seen that guy? Just shave it at
Just
this
shave
point.
It's
Come
gone.
on, man.
It's
Yeah.
gone. Just
Just
give it
stop.
up.
Just stop. What was the picture with him, Mahomes, and was it Hurts or who was the other guy? I don't even know. I don't even care. But just that picture, seeing his hairline, I'm like, my boy.
Okay, so if I'll go first on this one.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, so last place I have the Cardinals, and it's because that roster's not great, and
Kyler's
Kyler
gonna be out.
He's going to be gone. What do you think? At least half the
Half the
season.
year.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's my thing. Is by the time
You got Colt McCoy.
I don't trust
Oh,
him.
Colt!
That, when they had the roster and he was having to fill in, they were able to win some games here and there. But when the rosters, yeah. So I don't trust them because I think by the time Kyler gets back, that's still you got to also get in rhythm and everything. And I'm just like, I'm not sure. I feel like they're basically going to be cautious, pretty much throw away this year and try to get another dry draft pick. Third place, this will be shocking. Seahawks. Now, don't get me wrong. I like the Seahawks. Thought they drafted well. Everything. I don't know if Geno can duplicate this season. I hope he does. Like, I root for him. I'm happy that he did well. I just am not sold yet. But I wouldn't surprise me if the Seahawks made the playoffs or whatever. But I have them finishing third because someone's got to finish third. Those top three teams, it's tough. Second, I'm going to go Niners. I think their roster's great, but obviously, yep. Second, I'm going to go Niners because I think their roster's great, but we're having to rely on Trey Lance because what are we thinking with Brock Purdy? They say that he might be gone. Didn't they say that he might be gone for the whole season because
He
they're
could
not
be
sure?
gone for up to the whole season.
Yeah, because they're not sure with that injury. And then, you're relying on Trey Lance, Sam Darnold. But I still think that roster with Shanahan's good enough where they can.
Wow.
Yes, first place Rams. Here's the thing.
It's not the fact that the 49ers were second.
I know it's
It's the
Rams,
Rams
are
are
first.
first.
Okay, so here's the
Yeah.
thing. I thought with the draft picks they had, they go, what do we desperately need to do? They drafted offensive linemen to protect Stafford. I don't know if they even got any more receivers, but basically you have Cooper Kupp and you have Stafford. If they can both be healthy, that combination alone, you guys can call me crazy all you want. I don't really care. But
We will.
Who's the best quarterback in that division?
Shit. Brock Purdy. If he's
Brock Purdy is not better than Matthew Stafford.
No.
Brock Purdy might be
You're right.
You're right. I mean,
But
you're right.
I guess just like longevity, yeah. Like if Brock Purdy didn't get hurt, I think we would be singing a whole nother tune right now.
If the Rams can protect Stafford, which that's remains to be seen because they didn't do it last year, but if they can protect him, I have no doubt that Stafford can sling that ball to even fill-in guys like that they have in the offense. If Cooper Kupp's getting double, whatever, I have no doubt he can get the ball to him. And if their offense can produce, that defense, they're going to basically just use a bunch of like free agent / 6th, 7th round draft picks on the defensive side. We see that all the time where guys that are drafted that late can still make impacts because that's more of a thicker position as far as I know I did. Just more
that-
deep is what I meant.
Just
Deeper.
the
Oh,
aspect,
deeper.
Just the aspect that I think the one thing, and actually it rarely happens when you get rid of someone, you actually get better. I think once they got rid of Allen Robinson,
Yeah, because he wasn't doing.
they got
he
a little
wasn't
bit better.
Didn't he go to the Steelers?
God dang.
Yeah,
The Steelers were suckers and they bought into that. It's like, dude, if you
Well,
could,
but
If
I
you
think
didn't make it work out there
I
with
think
Sean
in the
McVay.
young core and everything, what's going on with the Steelers, I think an Allen Robinson is actually kind of nice for a second,
I know, but
third tier.
I think they already have two studs at receiver.
to expect Allen Robinson, yeah, and what happened in that scenario in
and a really good tight end.
in the Rams and
Yeah.
everything, I feel like it was like the expectations of him were a lot bigger.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's 10 times easier when Brandon Cooks plays for the Texans and he's going to get all the targets and he's going to get 1,000 yards,
Yeah.
so on and so forth. And
Which he
that's-
did go to the Cowboys, by the way. We didn't talk much about that. That's a big move.
Oh, the
for
Brandon Cooks went to the
Yeah.
Cowboys. I think that's another. I guess I didn't think about it at this moment, but when I was initially doing my picks weeks ago, I did go. I like what they got. Brandon Cooks fills a need as like that slot guy.
Yeah.
So I like it.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah.
Oh, so obviously, the Cardinals. I'll do it like you said. I'll go from the bottom
Bottom
to
up.
the top. Cardinals, and I think that's the competitiveness of the Rams. I think little things that they either acquired. I mean, Stafford, yeah, he is probably the best quarterback.
Because their top pick was a guard out of TCU that was supposed to be a pretty
Yeah.
good guy.
If not,
So.
the main aspect of that division of what I like about the Rams is that you have the best coach. You have the best head coach. McVay is better than Pete Carroll. He's better.
Yeah, to me, it's like
Because of the-
Pete Carroll and
Yes,
Sean McVay are like
yes.
right there, and Kyle
Right.
Shanahan. Until I see him win a Super Bowl, I feel like he gets the roster's really good. But you have to give John Lynch a lot of credit for that roster.
That division of coaches minus Carol, or besides the Cardinals.
Yeah,
those
no,
are
they're
three
stacked.
of- yeah,
Stacked guys
that's
that.
And I think
Guys that
Two of them are
proven.
probably already going to the Hall of Fame because McVay at this point might be able to just go to the Hall of Fame right now because of what he's been able to do.
in such a short time.
But
being so young.
Shanahan's on his way.
He's said,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
So you
ju-
got Cardinals in last, and who'd you say was third?
number 3, and just because of the competitiveness of that organization, I think it'll be really, 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 really close. But I actually liked a lot of the draft picks and what they did in the offseason for Seattle. So personally, third, it's going to be the Rams.
That's
second,
fine. I mean,
second, it's going to be Seattle, and obviously, I just feel like
the Niners kind of have that like
They just
we have the
have
best
it.
roster every year. They go in.
Well, not even just the best roster. I just like I said, you probably got the second best head coach. You probably got the best GM.
McCaffrey gets another year in that system.
Once, yeah, just little things like that. And I think, like
I mean,
you
they are
said,
loaded.
They can
Like-
part the ship of Sam Darnold until they can, like I said,
Because
because they did it last year.
and they have that upside if Trey Lance can stay healthy and he actually gets to show his talent. They have that upside where they may just be like this dominant team out of next year.
Well, I
that
feel like they did it last year. You know, like, oh, let's start Jimmy G, so on and so forth. He gets hurt. You know, oh, let's trade for McCaffrey. They did all these things that a lot of organizations that have to do. They don't probably make it to the playoffs, and they were able to find a way.
Yeah.
And they were, if not, probably the number one team that a lot of people betting odds, this and that the 49ers were going to win that and get back to the Super Bowl.
And
if
if
it
Brock-
wasn't for Brock Purdy and
getting
that freakish,
yeah, because if Brock
Yeah.
Purdy stays healthy,
Yeah.
I honestly
That game's a lot closer.
Yeah, and I honestly, I think I favored the 49ers in that game going into it. I thought that they were going to be able to pull that out, but yeah, the Eagles just had no resistance once he got hurt.
all right. And if
So
No, he's got to make his picks.
I'll go.
oh my bad.
I'll go Cardinals last.
Okay,
I'll go Rams third.
okay.
I will go 49ers 2nd, and that's
Seattle winning it.
that's just because of the uncertainty at quarterback.
Yeah,
You're right. There's this high end opportunity that if Trey Lance becomes the guy that.
But yeah, they do have. There's that scenario where basically like Darnold sucks for him. Trey Lance just ends up kind of being nothing, or he gets hurt again.
Yep.
And Brock Purdy just out the whole time.
He's out the whole year,
Yeah.
and yeah. So I'm looking at okay. You give me Pete Carroll and Geno Smith running it back for another year in that
with
offense
with two
more
draft picks that
weapons.
may end up being the rookies of the year, kind of like the Jets, or
Yeah.
they were able to do that.
Yep, they added a lot of firepower. I like what they did out there, and I think that they're going to win that division.
Can I make a prediction real quick in that
Yeah,
division?
go for it.
Geno Smith gets hurt this season.
How can you make?
Brown's like, that's fucked up. Why would you do that?
First off, why would you put that curse on me after I just picked them? And second off, how can you predict that somebody's going to get hurt? You know, who did you pick? Oh, the Niners. I predict Christian McCaffrey gets hurt. Oh wait, he gets hurt every year.
Guess what? Like you guys just said, you got what? No, oh, I thought you said quarterback or whatever. But once again, you have the depth though. You still have Trey Lance. You still have, you know, what I'm saying Sam Darnold. You
Yeah,
still have Brock Purdy
the
coming
Seahawks,
back.
their depth is
Who-
Drew Lock as
yeah,
their backup, and that's the thing. Yeah, it's like that's not good.
and that's the only reason why I give them the competitiveness is that I think at some point
They have options
because of the history. Yeah, at least Drew Lock is somewhat of a deep ball thrower. He can throw it to Metcalf.
But this
you know what I'm
brings
saying?
this brings up a good topic. If let's say Seattle starts off like Philly did last year, where they're just like on a roll and like they're just undefeated, like 9-0, whatever, something like that. Say what he says is true. Geno gets hurt halfway through the year.
Yeah.
If you're Seattle, do you think they would actually be like push our chips in the middle of the table and like let's try and trade for somebody? Do you think they would do that?
No. I think
If you
where
have
they-
that good of a roster, you
where
don't
they're
think,
where they're at the organization and everything, because you can't rely on that roster for the
You're talking about
future.
trading for a quarterback.
yeah, if Geno goes
Like
down
who?
halfway, I don't
Like
know,
who?
but I'm saying if halfway through the year Geno goes down and you feel like we're the number one, if they're sitting at the 1 seed or the 2 seed,
Now are we talking about like Geno's out for the year?
yeah, he's done.
I think maybe they sign like a Cam Newton to try to fill the void.
No, I could see them making a move because if you're sitting there at 9-0,
I don't know the
who
name.
though?
I don't know the name.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's the thing is it also depends on who's there and who's
Yeah.
available. If there's somebody that they think can come in and play Geno level football or better,
Okay, so I guess the name that's popping in my head right now.
With Derek Carr. or
No,
something?
the guy that I think would be available, and I know you guys are going to laugh at this. Tannehill would be the name, but I'm like,
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
if he's the guy that could steady the ship, be a veteran presence, could come in and play good enough quality football, because if
Yeah.
the rest of the team is playing well,
That's
you got
a
running
great-
backs, you got line play, you got defense, you got wide receivers.
I love that actually. I really like that.
I think it makes sense because of the fact that the Tennessee Titans are already I think on the market.
They're
too.
ready to move on. I think
There's
they're
a lot of reports that they wanted to try to trade Tannehill before
yeah,
during the draft.
and I think they're willing to give him the like Let's
And
let
they
you.
brought in Will Levis.
They'll
so
let you.
they-
I think they're going to let him start the season, and if things go great, they'll let him keep going. But if it's not going to go great, yeah, they'll just switch to Will Levis and not look back.
I actually really like that. All right, let's move to the north. Let's take a trip up north.
Be the
boys. This is the division that I've been waiting to talk about because
Anything?
I'm good.
I think I'm good.
Because I know how widespread this group's thought is on the NFC
Yeah, I
North. So before any of you jump in, I'm gonna go first.
Okay, go for it.
I am super excited to talk about this division. So we got the Packers, the Lions, the Vikings, and who am I forgetting? The Bears.
Yep.
All right. Finishing in dead last, the Packers.
Okay.
I don't think the Packers are going to be very good this year.
We can all agree on that.
I think
right?
we're all going to
We do all agree on that. I'm not sold on Jordan Love, and I think every other team at least has some bright spots going for him. Where I'm like, yeah, I could see them.
I
Yeah.
can see it. Yeah, no, not happening with the Packers. All right. This is where things get fun.
Okay.
The Vikings are going to finish in third.
Okay.
The Vikings are not going to have a great year.
Okay.
That defense is going to take huge steps back. They're going to regress. They are not going to be good. They're getting older. They're getting slower. They're not adding pieces to the defense. Don't like it.
Well, already their point differential was like what, a 2?
Yeah.
Because
Negative.
they lost
I
to
think it
Darius
was. I think it was
Smith.
a
They lost.
negative.
Because didn't he just get traded? Where'd he go?
Where did he go? That's a good question. We'll have to look that up.
I'll look it up. I'll look it up.
What's Joe Rogan's guy's name? Jamie.
Jamie,
Jamie.
pull it
He's
up.
on that. Jamie.
Pull it up.
I just think Kirk Cousins is going to take a big step back this year. I don't think he's, we talked about the contract year being undefeated. This is technically a contract year for him. And
I remember the team as I pulled it up. Browns.
The Browns, yeah.
He's filling in for Clowney, who I
right.
guess is
Yeah,
gone.
that's right.
Yeah.
I really don't think Kirk Cousins is going to have a great year. I think he has played himself into some big contracts, and he's not going to do it this year.
You don't think Kirk can do it?
No.
Oh, Kurt.
How you like
Captain
that?
Kurt.
How you like that?
You like that?
You like that?
You see the chain that he was
Yeah,
ripping?
no. Captain Kirk's going to take some
With the
big steps
shirt
back
off?
this year.
I was cool with Kirk doing it. I just hated Adam Schefter for doing it and thinking he was cool.
Ooh, that was a sight to
I
see.
just don't like Adam Schefter.
Yikes.
I didn't know a grown ass man could have
I'm an Ian
flabby ass
Rappaport guy.
titties like that.
I'm an Ian Rappaport guy.
So second,
Yeah.
the Bears. The Bears take a huge step forward this year. I really like what the Bears are doing, and I think
Bear down.
I think that they added where they needed to add. They spent money wisely, and I think that team's going to take a pretty big step forward. It'll really be up to Justin Fields on how far that they go, if they're a playoff team or not. But they're going to finish second in the division, which means the Detroit Lions are
Dan Campbell.
winning that division. Dan Campbell and the freaking knee
Bites and
biters.
kneecaps.
I think, we kind of talked on draft night. We weren't super excited about what they did in the draft.
But they kind of corrected it second round and on. They did a lot better.
They did. They brought in Jalen Hyatt,
Yeah.
and they brought
Hendon
in
Hooker,
Hendon
which,
Hooker.
like I said, great value. That if you're not happy
But if
with
they're
Jared
going to
Goff,
win this year, it's going to be because of Jared Goff.
Jeff, I know, no, not talking about this year, but I'm saying in the future that will end up being a great value pick because you took a guy that was going to win the Heisman if he didn't get hurt. You pick that guy in the third round as like a
And so they drafted Jack Campbell, the linebacker. out
that
of
we all
Iowa.
said was a little high.
We all were like, "What the hell was
Yeah.
that?" So I watched. I've been watching these draft videos inside of the war rooms of different coaches and different GMs, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were picking right behind the Panther or the Lions. At that pick. I got my big cats mixed up there. And the Buccaneers had two guys on their list that they had narrowed down to. We
That
were
pick,
picking
yeah.
at that pick, and Jack Campbell was one of them.
So they were like, we can't risk it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
But
so when you think about that, maybe they didn't overvalue him as much as what we thought.
No,
Yeah.
but in that aspect, though, drafting somebody like that because of the concerns of another team, that's what falters an organization.
I don't
The
think
Chiefs did not do that this year. The Chiefs did not trade up because they were like, oh, fuck, the Oklahoma, or so on and so forth, left tackle or wide receiver is going to get drafted, so
We
on and
just
so
we
forth.
just took it how it came and we were like, okay,
Exactly.
let's
We're going to
draft-
get the best value
Yeah.
guy. We saw this guy, so on and so forth, and we're going to draft him at the spot
Yeah.
that he's...
And what I was saying wasn't necessarily saying that the
Well, for the first round for the Chiefs.
that
let me
the
reiterate
Lions
that.
did that because of that. I was just saying that we didn't
didn't know the full story.
We didn't know the whole story that maybe Jack Campbell really was valued as that high of a pick.
Yeah, I mean, like
because if there's two teams in the
like
top 20
like
that
you
were willing
said,
to pick him.
like you said, something or someone is worth basically what someone else is willing to pay. So if someone else is willing to draft him at high, I guess he is Yeah, like someone's.
But
winning.
overall, I like what Detroit's doing, and I think they're going to win that division. Jeff, you're going to go last on this one. Chris is up next.
Okay, fourth place Packers. We talked
Best
about
for
that.
last, all right.
Fourth place Packers. I don't think they have. I need to see Jordan Love do something. I need to see like this wow from him. Other than that, their roster is fine. Their defense is okay. Their offense is maybe going to be okay if the tight ends work out. They still have Christian Watson. I like him, but their running backs are good. But Jordan Love's got to deliver. Third place, I'm going to go Bears. I do think they make an improvement where I think they could be like around like 500, but I don't see them actually putting together enough wins to make the playoffs. And here's one reason: are we sold on Eberflus? No. We saw him 1 year. I didn't. They finished with like either the worst record, it was the worst record, or second to worst. They tied with the Texans or something. But
Right.
yeah, I need to see more from him as like a leader and everything like that. And maybe, granted he didn't have a whole lot to work with last year. I get that, but still would like to see more from him for me to be sold on that team. Justin Fields, I think he'll grow. He just got to work on his passing. Got to be a better passer because you can't be finishing like dead last in the stats.
This is the year for him. This is the
Should
year
be.
for him.
They got weapons. Should be. Second place, I'm going to go Vikings. Kirk Cousins. I think he basically will do just enough to. I think he like that. I think he'll do just enough to basically keep them like at a 500 or a little bit above.
I do not like that.
But that's about it. I don't see him getting any farther. I still think their offense can be productive because they drafted Jordan Addison is who they got, right? Yep. Yeah. So I think their offense can still be good. The defense, I agree with you. I don't remember who all they drafted to try to fill those holes, but I don't think you can draft in one draft get everything for that defense. But and first place, I got the Lions. I think they've basically built up a solid roster. I think Jared Goff is good enough to get you to a certain level, and I think we're going to see him do the best of his abilities to get them to that level this year. I think eventually the Lions will just realize, okay, Jared Goff has taken us as far as he can, and then we'll have to move on eventually. But yeah, I got the Lions. I think the best leader of men in that division as far as a coach, because I think he really motivates people.
Dan Gamble, baby.
Yeah. And I think, like I said, this roster has been built up enough where I feel like I think they're the best roster in that division.
I like it. All right, Jeff, I've been waiting.
All right, obviously we all know. It's going to be the Packers that are going to be in last place in that division.
Yep.
Yeah, this is the year for Jordan Love to ball out. Let's see what you got, so on and so forth. Maybe expectations are a little bit higher, lower, so on and so forth. This is it. This is it for Jordan Love. You still got Aaron Jones. You got all those rookies, like you said, Christian Watson. You still got some talent on that offense. You know what I'm saying? And that defense wasn't necessarily borderline, in the 20s or below.
They got some guys on defense.
And once again, that's where I think Green Bay might surprise you a little bit. But yeah, you're looking at a team that's already looking towards the future, and I think that's what hurts a lot of organizations when you already know that you got rid of your franchise star quarterback Aaron Rodgers. You're already looking for the future. So in the same sense, to be competitive, what is the point of being competitive? Granted, the Seahawks, obviously,
they made it work with.
They're not going to win the Super Bowl, but in the same sense, what's the point of competing like that at that level when you know you're going to have to rebuild in another year or two?
Can I ask you a quick follow-up?
What's
so
up?
you said this is it for Jordan Love, and I'm sure you're not saying like this is it as in like he'll be done out of the league. But I guess my question is, they do have some pieces. So I think for you, are you saying you better show us something, Jordan Love? Like you got to show us at least that you're like a starting level player. Because if he has another instance where like plays most of the year and shows us like, okay, dude, maybe you could be a backup. But if it's backup level talent, you think they're just like, all right, we got to move on from him too? You think they would?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
That's my perfect example because just like I said, how we've seen a lot of guys. I mean, that'll bring me to my next topic here in a little bit. But before I get to that, obviously I think third, and it's going to surprise you guys, but it's going to be the Detroit Lions. It's the Detroit Lions. We're talking about the Detroit Lions. So oh man. You know what I mean? Like Jimmy Garoppolo, he's in the same system with Josh McDaniels in Oakland. They're gonna blah blah.
Better
blah.
watch those kneecaps, Jeff. Dan Campbell come in here.
I mean, that's what I'm talking about. It's like, oh, you like your head coach? Yeah, I bet you a lot of players have liked their head coach in the past, and he still got fired. That whole aspect of, and once again, their number one pick from a year ago suspended for how many games? 5, 6 games.
6. Yeah, Jameson Williams will be.
It's just the aura of that organization. They're going to.
So you think there's some stank? There's some stank on that organization that you're not sure they've gotten all that out.
So the offense aspects, this and that, but then once again, you traded DeAndre Swift. You're
going all in on Gibbs.
Yeah,
as your running back.
Yeah. So once again, we're not talking about a team like the Eagles that were successful, and then now you're just adding pieces, or like the Chiefs, you're just adding.
They were a good team last year, but obviously not good enough to make the playoffs. But they finished, I think, 9-8 or something like that.
And their offense was very,
humming.
very
Yeah,
good offense. They were the second best offense in football last year.
And that's fine. But once again, how bad was their defense?
It was bad.
It was pretty bad.
So the expectations of thinking, oh, you know what I mean? I'm just going to keep this same offense while trading, certain guys, first rounders, wide receivers, talents that are going to be suspended that we're just going to rowboat for 6 weeks.
Motorboat.
For 6 weeks that we're just going to be like, yeah, we're going to be that number one team. This and that.
Wait, obviously, what are we motorboating?
I don't know. What are we?
We'll find out later. But anyways, first week they got the Chiefs. I don't know how their schedule is throughout the season.
Yeah, we'll come back to this in a
on
couple
so
months
forth.
and actually.
But yeah, third it's going to be the Lions. It's going to be like I said.
All right, so
It's going to be the Lions.
Okay.
I like Goff. I like Goff a lot. What he showed, if not the talent that he brought to out there for the Rams and everything with McVay. But I think once again, losing the talent that they did, trying to expect those expectations from Jared Goff and everything from that offense, I don't think you're going to get the same result.
Well, real quick, do you think Jared Goff gets too much shit? Because
Yes.
people treat him as if he's barely a starter, and I'm like,
No,
okay.
I mean Mahomes got shit for not being the number one quarterback last year. They talked about
Well,
Joe Burrow being better. They talked
Well,
about
yeah,
all these
I guess
other
that's
guys.
they do that every year.
Yeah, I
You know
guess
what I'm
that's
saying?
true. Every quarterback
So
gets
every
some
quarterback
shit.
deserves that getting shit. Jared Goff.
Well,
he's
people
not
just-
the-
people-
Jared Goff is not elite to me.
He's
So-
not. I don't think he's
So he
elite.
deserves the shit that he's getting.
Okay, but
criticized for.
people do talk about him as in he's a future backup right now, and I'm like,
He could still start in the NFL.
He's,
and
he's
he
a Derek
will.
Carr to me. He's a Derek Carr.
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
all right.
right,
So
so-
second.
So second, I think it's going to be the Bears. I think they will.
Well, I thought
make-
you were gonna. I thought,
Oh!
way.
No, they
Oh,
will.
I
They will,
was thinking so too.
they will make the biggest step, and they will make the transition to like you said, Chris. I will rely on this. He has got to show the passing aspect, the running aspect. Like
Looks
I said,
good, yeah.
So out there in Atlanta, I think Ritter can get away with a lot of running. He can get a lot of play action rollouts to where he has the option to. If the guy's there, the first option, no, okay, then I start to run. So on and so forth. We've seen this a lot in a lot of guys' careers, and they be successful. Fields now has the weapons. DJ Moore with the trade. I mean, who's
you got Claypool, which I like still. I know a lot of people aren't high on him, but I like
tight
him.
end? What's his name?
Cole Met.
Yeah,
Cole Kmet, yeah.
You've got, and they drafted.
I think they drafted somebody
a
else.
starting right tackle
Yep.
for them in the first round. at
Darnell
Oklahoma.
Wright.
Yep.
Who's their running backs? Didn't they get somebody from the Eagles? Am I thinking? am I
Who
wrong?
did they get?
Or no, no. I
It
think they
wasn't
got
the
Devontae
Eagles.
Foreman from the Panthers. I think
They got
him.
Devontae Foreman. Yeah.
Yeah, which I like him a lot.
Like I
do.
said, I feel like now you put it's just like Jalen Hurts. You put the weapons around him. You put some talent. Granted, it's not as
How you
much.
feel about that coach though?
It's not as much talent as the Eagles. You got AJ Brown, so on
Yeah.
and so forth.
Yeah.
But in the same sense, you got the talent around him. That's why I have them at second. Feel like best case scenario, it's 10 wins. Worst case scenario, it's probably 9 or 8. And it's that
Yeah.
team that we see sneak into the wild card. That's all like, oh man, I don't know, because Justin Fields, because of how elite he is on his feet.
I could see them firing Eberflus after the year if, let's say we don't see as much growth as we want to from Justin Fields. I could see them firing him and getting an offensive guy in there to see if Justin Fields can flourish.
I was going to say they're stuck with Fields for another year.
Yeah,
Because their decision not to take a quarterback number one this year.
Yeah.
With the head coach, it's the aspects of what they want to do and how they run everything, so on and so forth. And then I think we talked about it before. I think
Kirk Cousins.
I don't like that.
Who's the best quarterback in that division? It's Kirk Cousins.
For me, it's Goff because I actually like Goff a little more than Cousins. I do.
I think I'll answer this question in a different way. I think that if we're looking on what have you done right now and up to this point, it is Kirk Cousins. But I think my projection for this next year is Cousins is making a regression.
I feel
back.
like so. Besides, obviously, the Eagles. I mean, look at all that. You got Drake London that you just drafted for the Vikings, right?
No, it's on
No,
the
it
Falcons.
was your boy.
No, it's Falcons. Justin
Jordan Addison.
It was
Jordan
Jordan
Addison,
Addison.
I love
your
Jordan.
boy.
I love Jordan
Your
Addison.
boy.
Yeah.
They drafted him. You got T.J. Hawkinson. You got the best receiver in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
Yes, Jefferson.
You got still Dalvin Cook. Granted, there's
You got
some
Christian Darrisaw.
rumblings that he might be.
Yeah, he might want to.
You got one of the best tackles in Christian Darrisaw up there. Yeah, I mean, they've got the pieces.
And we'll have to look, but when we recap this, like in a couple months, when we come back and do like a before the season,
when
I'm
I-
pretty sure they drafted some defensive pieces to fix
When
that.
I look at the Vikings and I look at Detroit, it's all like, man, Detroit had such a good offense. It's all like Minnesota had a pretty good offense.
Yeah, they
It's
did.
all like, who's better? Do I think right now to compete with that aspect of, do I rely more on my offense compared to my defense? It's the Vikings all the way compared to what the Lions did, because you got a lot of new guys, you got a lot of young guys, and you have to put that all together. And
you
I think
think-
that's a lot worse than when you have guys that you are already on that team, that already know the system, and you already have the head coach. You just added talent to
And you
it.
think Kirk Cousins? I mean, I think he's fully aware that he knows that this is his last season with the Vikings, unless he like does something major. I think he needs to make it to like an NFC Championship game to stay on that team.
I mean, in the same sense, I mean, Detroit has to make that move with Jared Goff.
I think they gotta
can't-
make-
You can't settle with that 8-9. Or
I think,
whatever
yeah,
record.
I think they got to make a leap as well, just for the fact of that roster now has so much talent that it would like be like, what's the reason why we're?
I think if the Lions make the playoffs, they run it back with golf another year.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
I
with
just feel like that organization is once again.
So let's move over to the
Yeah.
AFC here. Let's go to the American Football Conference.
that. Okay.
We're going to start down south.
Okay.
So we got the Jags, the Titans,
Colts and
the
Texans.
Colts and Texans. Okay. All right.
And
Who wants to go first?
well, 3 out of
Can
the
we all agree that it's going to be the Jaguars?
Oh, yeah.
no.
What?
Three out of the 4 of those teams drafted a quarterback either not in the first round, but like Will Levis was taken second round. Yeah, no, I'll
Wow.
let you guys. I'll save me for last then, because yeah, you guys were saying unanimous.
Wow.
Jaguars division. I'm not.
Wow.
You
Well,
want me to start it off?
yeah, you go ahead. I'm going to pour some shots because I need something after that. Jesus.
Fourth, I'm not gonna lie. Oh man, that if not the fourth, third, and second option is more difficult. for me
I know.
than the actual first team. So I'll get out my first team. It's Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence, so on and so forth. I get it. Oh, the year that he had with Ohio
Meyer?
State. Yeah. The projections of and just that team itself, like, yeah, they should solidify and win that team. Even if they have a degressed year, if they have a down year, if
They
don't
still
know-
win the division.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly. I just feel like the way that team's put together, the head coach, so on and so forth. That's Doug Peterson. That's a solid team, and they're going to win that division. Now, number 2 is always the factor.
So you're going
of-
top down.
Yeah,
Okay.
top down. Number 2 is always the factor of course, Tennessee's always competitive. It's just that thorn in your side. You know what I'm saying? You're just like, God damn it.
Vrabel ain't built for tanking. He's not.
No, and Grant and he wants to keep his job, this and that, unless he's there's some kind of underlining he wants to go to another team. I don't know with head coaches.
He's going to end up in New England one day, right?
To me, he's the.
He's the heir apparent
That's
to
a
Bill
good.
Belichick.
That's a good point. But he's the no nonsense. Like, oh, you guys think you run this shit? Players fucking league. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
But then it's once again one of those head coaches. He's defensive minded. Obviously, the offense only succeeds, and if
That's
not does so
true.
good.
True,
in
but
that
I think
aspect.
can we all agree? I don't think the Titans have been. I don't think they make the playoffs the last couple of years if he's not the coach.
No.
Oh yeah.
I think he instills a grit in them that's like
But
simple
you-
stuff.
They
like,
are fighters. He's the Dan Campbell
Yeah,
of the
I don't care if that dude was
AFC.
drafted
But you-
higher than you. You don't let him beat you. You don't
But do you
get
believe
your ass whooped on this.
more
play.
in the offense or the defense of that team in the past 3-4 years that he's been head coach.
The defense.
The defense, I feel like, has been frisky and good. The offense,
The offense is built
been-
around Derrick Henry.
yeah,
The
yeah.
offense has been very spotty.
Yeah.
It's been very
Yeah.
spotty, especially when you even had AJ Brown, because it was the chuck it up whenever Derrick Henry's
Yeah.
getting going. So
Okay, so who's your number 2?
number 2, I hate to do this. Because they're just always that team until they can prove me wrong. It's going to be Titans.
Titans, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So then third, it's going to be, you know what? And I just love the expectations, even though I think the Texans take a step with all their draft picks and C.J. Stroud and so on and so forth. Even though I don't think C.J. Stroud's going to be a longevity career future quarterback in the league, but I just think they take that next step. I love D'Amico Ryans. He's a defensive-minded coach, so on and so forth. That's what's
Yeah,
gonna
hopefully he
hurt.
doesn't get fired after 1 year.
Yeah,
which
that's
is
what's
what
going
the
to hurt
Patterns.
CJ.
There's no
That's
way.
That's what's going to hurt C.J. Stroud. But in the same sense, man, I love what the Colts did
With Richardson?
and taking a risk with Richardson. So personally, I like Richardson. even though he's not going to start off right off the bat. He's not.
He might.
I think he will.
I've heard a lot of rumblings that he's going to.
Because
All right, but
Gardner Minshew lacks one thing: talent. He's okay.
Oh, don't talk about my boy, Gardner Minshew.
I've already lost one friend apparently to Gardner Minshew.
Don't talk
slanders.
about my boy Gardner like that. All right, the porn stat, Pornhub. All right, that dude's a fucking.
Okay, so you got
stud.
Colts at 3.
Yeah, Colts at 3
And then
then
Texans.
Texans 4.
Okay.
All right. So I'll go through this.
Of all quarterbacks I'd want to have a beer with, it's Gardner goddamn Minshew. All right, that's all I know.
Yeah, I could agree with that. So, anyways,
It's not Russell Wilson, that's for sure.
I'm
Yeah, you flipped the fucking golf court on
Yeah.
him.
at
golf
Arrowhead Golf Course, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Arrowhead owns him. If you guys listen to my podcast, you would have heard that story.
Oh, sorry.
We
will.
Anyways,
It's a joke.
Jags finished first. I like the Jags finishing first there. Let's see. Whew.
I know it's tough. That's a tough division.
I'm going to go a little outside of the box in this division because I think second through fourth, they're going to be bad teams no matter which order you stack them in. They're going
That's
to be
the hardest part of this, I think, topic.
You're not talking about a potential wild card team. You're not talking about a team that's going to be fighting for a playoff spot.
That's 6,
These are
7.
at best.
Yeah.
Texans make a huge jump this year. I love what the Texans did. The Texans went up and got their guys. They went up and made some. Like I said it the other night when we did our draft podcast. The Texans dropped their nuts on the table and said, "This is what we're doing."
Mm-hmm.
They went out and picked second and third and got their guys.
Just because you drop your nuts on the table doesn't mean anything.
Well,
If they're big nuts, yeah. But if they're little ones.
well, they got big nuts.
They got big nuts.
I don't think I don't think they win any more than 6 games, maybe 7 at the best, but they're going to finish second in the division.
Okay.
The Colts finish third.
Interesting.
I like what the Colts do.
Tennessee going last.
I like the idea of just pounding the ball, running the ball with Anthony Richardson, pounding the ball with Jonathan Taylor, and they got Michael Pittman on the play action. They've got some players on defense. And my hot take, the Titans fall the fuck off this year, and they finish
You can't
dead
run the ball
last.
if you don't have an offensive line.
Yeah, I don't.
They drafted one.
Sure, but
One.
yeah.
Okay, but I'm saying I don't think it's that bad. I agree with you that it wasn't great, but I think they took their first pick that they had and they addressed their biggest need.
I just think that they're going to finish last. I don't think that you're going to get great quarterback play out of Tannehill. I think eventually, right, like at the running back position, there's a shelf life on those guys, and especially when they're getting as many carries as Derrick Henry gets, he's either going to get injured or his production's going to go down.
Or he's going to get traded.
He could be traded.
I feel like that's why Tennessee does this, and they fall off to second. I don't have a lot of high hopes in Texans and the Colts. I feel like, yeah, they upgrade a little bit, another 1-2 wins, this and that, and it makes them, like right on the factor.
I think there might be some growing pains.
Yeah, they ride on the factor of, okay, let's run this back again. There's the potential, blah blah
Well,
blah.
go ahead.
To wrap up my point on the Titans, I think they're going to start off the year pretty shitty. They're going to get into a rough spot, and they're going to look at themselves, and they're going to say, okay, we just drafted Will Levis high. We know Ryan Tannehill's not the answer. We're going to make this change to see what we have in Levis because we just put a pretty big investment into Levis. A high second-round pick is a big investment. So they're going to go, we got to figure out what we have sooner than later because we only got 4 years with this guy. Let's figure out what we got on the back half of this year. There's going to be some growing pains with that. They're going to lose a lot of games because of that.
Okay. One thing I want to say: this is the division that has the most young guys that are trying to start because there's 2 out of the 4 are definitely going to be rookies.
Okay.
And then
Sorry if you don't mind.
the Titans might be starting a rookie. The Titans might be starting a rookie for most of the year. So that's the thing. What I look at is I don't think this is the best environment for a rookie quarterback to come in and try to get some wins because, especially in the AFC, loaded. Like, there's not going to be – I think normally there's more, like, freebie games or easier games for a young guy to, like, come in and try to get some wins. I don't see it this year. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of gimmies. So, 4th place, I got to go with the Colts. Now, I like the Anthony Richardson pick. I like the upside of that. Everything, like, that's true. But I still think, like what you said, like the play action to Michael Pittman off that because the running game is going to be so good. I've heard he's still missing guys in practice by, like, a decent margin. So, I like him, but he needs a lot of work. So 3rd place, and I'm
You
also
said Michael Pittman?
I'm saying Anthony Richards missing Michael Pittman.
Okay.
And I'm not sold on Shane Steichen as an actual head coach. Certain guys can be good coordinators, but when it's time for them to be a leader of men, not sure about that. Third place, I'm going to go the Texans. I do like what they did. I do think they're going to be better. I still think like C.J. Stroud, like it's not a knock on these guys. I just do think there's going to be a learning struggle when you first get in, and they do need to acquire a little bit more talent. So I got them in third. Second place, I got the Jags. I think here's what we got to remember about the Jags. They started the year 3-7. 3-7. They did go on a run, and that did happen. I'm not
But
saying
in
it
the
didn't
same
happen.
sense, it's just like your Detroit Lions. It's,
Yeah, that's true. They didn't start out great either. Okay, well, here's my other reasoning: is did they massively improve this year in the offseason? Did they get a ton better? They lost Juwan Taylor.
I think
They replaced him, right? They drafted Harrison. But
the only aspect of you have a lot of young guys, and they just now matured from the season before.
I still think they're going to be a frisky, very dangerous team. I just think the AFC's
They also get Calvin Ridley this year too. That's
to me, Calvin Ridley is one of the most overhyped players ever. I honestly have never watched him. He's
What
not
of
that
the-
good.
What is
he's
he?
not.
What top 5 or
bring,
what?
Bring
What
me
are
the
you talking about
statistics
here?
that's like Calvin Ridley like a top receiver because he's not. He's not.
What?
What did you guys watch on the Falcons? He was not. They weren't like winning, going to the playoffs with Calvin Ridley.
It's the only reason why they were even somewhat
I don't think so. Calvin Ridley's a nothing to me. He literally will be an afterthought in that offense. I promise you.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay, so then, I got Jags second. Nothing. Like I said, it's not a knock against them. Titans. I think Mike Vrabel. He's not going to tank. And then if you're just asking me who I trust more, I trust that organization more than the Jags. The Jags have not proven, I think, ever to put together like back-to-back winning seasons. That's not something they do. They never do it.
Yeah, that's a
And then all those guys that just made a playoff run, their contracts are up. They want money. And then the organization's like, we're not going to pay you.
But in the same sense, that's why I don't always buy into the stereotypical, okay, this team's never done this. Because obviously, the Chiefs have never done this before in franchise history, what they're doing now.
I get all that. I'm just saying that like the last time the Jags had like a great roster, they literally
When was that, though?
that was 2017. They made to the AFC Championship game.
With
I know it was Blake Bortles at quarterback. Okay, but hear me out though. It wasn't just the quarterback play.
like Bortles.
That team as a whole, the defense was not the same the following year. And then literally they just were like, let's trade everyone away.
That team's like
Yeah.
the Jets that we're almost talking about right now.
So real quick, just on Calvin Ridley, I just want to throw this out here. In 2020, which was the last year that he played a full year, because in 2021 that was the year that he had some mental health issues and stepped away from the game, and then last year he was suspended for the whole season.
Yep.
In 2020, he had 90 receptions, 1,374 yards, almost 1,400 yards, and 9 touchdowns, and averaged 16.3 yards a catch.
Okay.
That's a number one receiver in the NFL.
I don't
And he
look-
progressively got better every year.
He doesn't have the build of a number one receiver. I get what you're saying, that production. Okay, so I'll admit that I was wrong in the sense of this. That's 1 year of good production.
But
So he's got
that's
that.
him being on a team where it's just him. Granted, maybe you throw in the fact
Julio was still there, but I know Julio was on his way out. Yeah, I know.
So
I think in 2020 Julio wasn't
he
there.
wasn't
No,
because
he
that's
was.
the year we went to the Super Bowl.
No,
Obviously,
2020 was the year we made to the AFC Championship. Lost. 2020, we made to the Super Bowl, lost to the Bucks.
yes, exactly. Julio was on. Oh wait,
No,
the
he
next
wasn't.
year.
Julio
Was it the
literally
next
just
year?
joined Tampa this last year. He was only on Tampa
Is that
for 1
what it
year,
was? Is
and
that
the year
what it
before
was?
he was on the Titans.
Okay.
So yeah, he was still there, but that might have been Pitts' rookie year, or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Pitts' rookie year was 2021.
2021. I think.
Yeah, he did play in 2020.
Anyway, no, I'm not sold on him. Every time I've watched Calvin Ridley, I've not been like, wow, you're just like this amazing receiver. He's not big.
He's
and
6'1", 190.
That's not a big receiver, I don't think.
It's bigger in today's NFL.
Yeah, but once again, you talked. Not to argue with you or go back and forth with you, but we talking about guys like Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp put it forth like a literally MVP a year
But he's not a
or
big
2 years
guy.
ago.
He's not Calvin Johnson.
But
he's not.
Are we okay? So Cooper Kupp, who's been better in their career so far? Cooper Kupp or Calvin Ridley?
Well, that's an understatement because I don't think
Okay,
Calvin
Cooper
Ridley,
Kupp's like an anomaly, is what I'm saying.
But
Yes.
Calvin Ridley hasn't had the longevity as Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp's been in the league a lot
I
longer
know.
than him.
I don't think so. I think they are.
Oh.
I think Kupp's been in the league shorter.
Yeah, I think they're around the same time, aren't they? Like 2017, 2018. I think
No.
they're both around that. Okay, he can look it up.
You're smoking crack.
No. So
No.
number one team, I'll go Titans just because I do think the infrastructure, I think they'll run it back. I think Derrick Henry's got one more good year in him probably. I think Tannehill can steady the ship, and then Will Levis, I'm banking on Will Levis's upside. with a better organization than like the Texans and the Colts right now.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp was drafted in 2017, and Calvin Ridley was drafted in 2018. So only a year's difference.
Okay, so a year.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad. That's okay.
But anyway, yeah.
But anyways, I was kind of correct. But anyways,
you guys can call me crazy. That's fine.
anyways, the only thing I'm not gonna lie, I noticed with you, you like those hard-nosed coaches, don't you?
Yeah, I think you need someone to
You're a little
for.
biased.
What with Vrabel?
No, just all the hard-nosed coaches. Campbell.
Yeah.
You got both those teams with those coaches winning that division.
Those are the top two coaches that if you had to pick a coach to win a fight against the other coaches, well, Robert Saleh would be in there too, but I need a little
and
more.
then once
So
again,
you
that's
don't think
another
Andy
one.
Reid's going to kick some ass?
That's another one.
He just stare at
I know.
people.
Yeah, I know you love him. I'm like, you're a little biased.
I know that's why I'm excited to get to the East, because you're pitting Bill Belichick against Robert Saleh there. So before we move on to the East, I need a shot after what I
Okay.
just heard about the Jags not winning the
Do
division.
you need a shot?
They weren't as
I
dominant. They were
need
not
it.
a dominant team last year. I get
Who?
the
Who's
Jags. They were not dominant.
But they.
They were not dominant.
I won't say dominant, but they're going to be dominant this year. Another year of Doug
I don't know
We'll
about
see.
that. I don't know if they're going to be.
AFC's going to be
dominant.
tough. I don't know.
But the fact
Trevor Lawrence is on the verge of being an elite
you
quarterback.
went through a
He
lot.
could
Of,
be.
You went through a lot.
could
of,
be.
You went through a lot of experiences in a year that can project you into becoming better next
Yes,
year.
could.
Yeah, but that's the same thing with your Lions. They didn't even make the
I know
playoffs.
your argument about the Lions
That's what I'm saying.
is the exact opposite
They actually
argument
had to
about
go through diversity of, like you said, starting off with a bad record, finishing strong, and then coming back against the LA Chargers in that game. They were down,
I
what,
guess
27?
I guess when you're asking me to like really like narrow it down, yeah, I
Yeah.
guess it is the coach for me is like making and yeah, it's really the biggest difference. I feel like the Lions are building.
So
and
you'd rather pick Mike Vrabel over Super Bowl winning coach Doug Peterson?
Doug Peterson got fired already.
Because
why
he
did
was
he get fired?
in
Why did he get
Philly.
fired? That's true.
Because he was
Yeah,
in
that's
Philly.
part-
Philly
that's
ran out Andy
That's
Reid.
part of it. That's part of it. But the other thing is he decided to tank. He said, "We're
They ran
gonna."
out Andy Reid.
I mean,
Did you guys already drink yours?
yeah,
Okay,
where you
sorry.
been?
Talking.
All right, we're heading
Talk
down east.
faster.
I can't believe I have to write Tennessee in this box. Anyways,
I can't believe I wrote Tennessee in this.
we're going out east.
It's not that far fetched because Tennessee is always.
I picked them to be last, so it's far fetched for me.
I think whoever wins that division is the 4th seed. Is what I'm saying.
But
as
we've
well.
always said that. I feel like in the past years with Tennessee,
I don't know.
like,
They're
all
gonna
they
have
got
an
is
easy
Ryan
schedule 'cause
Tannehill.
They're
And,
going to get to beat up on the rest of the
on the
teams
Texans and the Colts. Yeah.
So they may get some free wins there.
That's what I'm saying. I think that division.
with Vrabel and his, and
But I think the other 3 divisions will have these top teams coming from.
Oh,
we
for
talked
sure.
we talked about it earlier. He's the better coach than both those teams easily.
Oh, Texans Colts.
Easily,
Yeah.
easily
Yeah.
by far.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the Jaguars, that's when I'm all like,
I like
"Ah."
Peterson.
I'm not saying I dislike Peterson. I'm just saying that I don't see Vrabel being like, we'll pack it in,
Peterson
guys.
or
We're just
penis?
not. Sure, penis, whatever. I don't know. But I just don't
Doug
see him.
Penis?
Doug Penis?
I don't see him packing it in. I just think the
Peter?
Jaguars. I'm curious to see if last year's run that they made after being 3-7. I'm curious if that's a fluke or if they actually. I don't think they're going to be a terrible team. I think they'll still be good. I just think only one team's going to win that
But at
division.
least when Doug Peterson goes to
Yes,
shake,
there is only one team that can't
when
win a
Doug Peterson
division.
goes to shake Mike Vrabel's hand, he's like, "Hey, how's it going?" Vrabel has to feel that fucking ring on his fucking hand.
Yeah.
All right.
He's the one coach that loses 3 game days.
Hey, you got you one of these? Vrabel's like, actually, I have several from
That's
when
true,
I
yeah,
played with the
that's
Patriots.
All right.
Okay.
Let's go out east.
Okay.
So we got the Jets, the Patriots, the Dolphins, and the Bills.
Yep.
Man.
I will go first.
Wait, hold on. Sorry.
No,
to
go
interrupt-
ahead.
Sorry to interrupt you. Is this the AFC West
From last
of
year.
last year to
Kinda.
this year?
Kinda. Yeah.
Except,
there
except
gonna
the
be
AFC
that
West fell on their face.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Is there going to be like 2 or 3 teams that just like, they just fall on
Yes,
their fucking
I do.
face?
Yeah.
I think we're gonna have 2 big disappointments.
Yep.
I'm just curious. Yeah.
So this is a tough division to pick, right? Because if you told me that the Patriots won it, if you told me that any of them, if you said, hey, one of these teams won the division, like if I went into a coma and I woke up at the end of the season and you told me that one of those 4 teams won it, I wouldn't be surprised because they all have an attribute that allows them to win that division. They all have something that is prone to winning divisions and winning games. So I look at this and I look at coach and quarterback. Everything that I pick and I look at comes back to coach and quarterback.
It's the main deciding factor.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I look at it, and I'm looking at 4th place, Miami Dolphins.
Ooh, okay.
And I think this will be a tight division. Yeah, old gang signs over there. I don't trust Tua to stay healthy for
Hey,
a
cool
whole
it,
year.
John Morant. All right.
We can talk about that later.
Yeah.
We will.
I don't trust Tua to stay healthy for a whole year. Mike McDaniel's, like you just talked about it, you can be a great coordinator, but are you a good coach?
Yeah, he seemed like he did good last year, but I'm just curious, like, if
Seemed
Tua...
like he did real good.
He did.
He did, but if Tua isn't available and you're having to rely on somebody else, because
Teddy Bridgewater,
I don't even think they have him. He's unsigned right now.
No, yeah, he left.
Skylar Thompson.
Yeah, I think it's Thompson.
Just curious.
I just they've got a lot of power there, and their upside. Like
No, wait, who did they sign? Sorry.
no, you're
Oh,
fine.
I know who it is. Mike White from the Jets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's who.
He
it
could
was.
win you some games, but I don't see that team. I don't see that team being any better than 3rd. So I'm going to pick them 4th.
Okay.
I trust Bill Belichick to win some games. No matter who his quarterback is, he's going to find a way to win some games. He'll scheme up that defense to win some games, and he'll win some games that he shouldn't win.
And we both like I think we all three like their draft. They're getting Christian Gonzalez where they
Yes.
did. Yeah.
And that's where that team's always been. Even when Brady was there, their defense was always
Yeah, they never had can't think of a single year where they had a bad defense.
Yeah, where they were like scoring a bunch of points and losing
beat
because
their-
their defense couldn't hold them.
I just remember that game against Buffalo where they won like 6-3.
Yeah, the win. I think it was the win game. Yeah.
They threw it like what 4 times.
4 times and
Yeah.
still won.
Yeah.
So I got the Patriots in 3rd.
Okay.
Then I am going to go the Jets finish 2nd. And I think Aaron Rodgers really does help that team. He probably squeaks them into the playoffs. They're probably a wild card team. And then I think the Bills, this is kind of their last, with this group that they got, this is kind of their last shot to figure it out. If they don't make it, and when I say this is their last shot to figure it out, I don't mean
You think they'll have to retool around Josh Allen? Like,
they're
Cap
because,
space, everything.
yeah,
yeah.
because of the way that they
Stephon Diggs doesn't want to be there. It seems like.
yeah, Stephon Diggs was throwing a temper tantrum on
yeah.
the sideline against the Bengals.
They need a Saquon Barkley at halfback or something.
yeah,
which I thought
they
they were
need
going to get somebody, but they didn't.
They need a desperate.
I thought they were going to do something.
they need
Yeah.
a desperate trade to.
Like
pivot.
a Derrick Henry
Yeah.
there made a ton of sense when
Yeah.
you thought about it. Like
When your
but-
Super Bowl
but
is
again,
against-
they're up against the cap, so they don't have a ton of money
Yeah.
to be doing
yeah,
that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
But they went out and they got Dalton Kincaid, and
You still got Von Miller if
I
he's
love
healthy.
if he's healthy. But I think even without him, they still got they got enough pieces on defense that they win that division.
Yeah.
No, so obviously it's the Jets. Is your number one.
No, I said the Jets were 2.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
My bad. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
so-
my fault. That's my fault.
Yep. So Buffalo wins that division. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next because I'm raving about it. I'm not gonna lie. This is a hot take right here. Obviously, Bill Belichick. I told you guys this earlier. The whole stereotypical, the history repeats itself, so on and so forth. This is the downfall of Bill Belichick, of him losing Brady. He don't like Mac Jones. There's obviously a tiff between the two.
Yeah,
If not, we've heard rumors about him necessarily
He
trying
wanted to try to trade him.
Yeah. So they're going to be 4th. It's going to happen this year, and I get it. We all talked about, and I've even said it. They're going to be competitive. They're going to win. Blah blah blah. But in that division, they might be 6 wins, and they might be 7, so on and so
I
forth.
think they were 7 last year. Yeah.
But just competitive. How this there were besides the cornerback, there's little things that you can do on defense that sets you in the future that you're all like, hey, defense is solidified.
Yeah, they
But
need
you
to work on
still
that
need-
offense. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Weapons.
Which I'm trying to think.
Jacoby
they
Meyer
got
left.
Juju.
Jacoby Meyer left. Okay, you got.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying they solved things. I'm just trying to think of who they got.
Don't get me wrong. You replaced pretty much Jacoby Meyer with Juju.
Didn't they get a
Smith-Schuster.
good tight end?
Who
I
was it?
think they already have a tight end, don't
No,
they?
but I thought they acquired somebody.
Because they
Fasano,
had-
Anthony
they-
Fasano, or not Fasano. I'm thinking of way back when.
No, because they had
Right,
Henry.
Who was the
then-
Dolphins tight end? Gasecki. He went.
Oh
to,
yeah, they
Yeah.
did get Mike Gesicki.
I'm thinking like 2008 Fasano.
I was like,
They-
oh
they
my
still-
god,
do they
I'm
still
pretty
have
sure
Hunter
Fasano's
Henry?
been out.
They still
I
have.
think so. I think
Yeah,
he's still there.
it was the other guy that they got rid of, Jonnu Smith.
Yeah.
And then don't get me wrong, it's all like, okay, the competitiveness, but once again, I feel like it goes from 7 to 6 or 7 to 5 because a lot of those games that they won, it was real eeky.
Close,
It
yeah.
was real eeky and close, this and that. And I just feel like, yeah, Belichick can only do so much. You know what I mean? They're on that pace that New England might never, Robert Kraft might never, ever in his lifetime, while he's alive, ever fire Bill Belichick because of what he's done.
Pretty hard to.
Yes, exactly. And to see the ship keep sinking, and you're all like, well, I've seen the ship on the top of the sea and, going to everywhere and blah, blah, blah. But to keep it, but you always have the good memories. You always have what we did this.
So you think that's going to do him in where they keep Bill a little too long?
I think they do. And the way the coaching staff is set up and everything like that, what? Did they replace an actual offensive coordinator?
I'm pretty sure what was his
They got
name?
the guy Bill O'Brien. They brought him back.
Yeah, and they got rid of Patricia.
Oh, Bill O'Brien.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
Hey, as long as he's not running the team's GM job, I think he might be okay.
Might be okay.
It's all those types of patterns with this team. I just don't see so much success because, yeah, like you said, with Daniels at Miami, if Tua stays healthy, oh man, that team, I would have that team at second. Personally, me, I would have Miami at second, but right now on my list, I would have them third because I just don't trust Tua being healthy.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's the projection of, if I was a betting man, Tua gets at least hurt for 2-3 weeks, blah, 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 so on and so forth. Number 2, it's going to be the Jets. It's
Okay.
got to be. I'm not going to lie. I'm not like you guys. I am not that high on Aaron Rodgers.
Well, hold on. Don't let me into that because I've been saying I don't think that they're going to be as good as
Okay,
what people
well, then
say.
there we go. Maybe it's necessarily just Chris.
It's me.
Maybe it's just the
It's
odd
me.
man
It's
out.
me.
It's the odd man out. The elephant in the room.
Look, I know I'm fat, but
Oh, hey, wait a second. He's right there. Why would you say that? But anyways, man, it's tough. It's tough for Hall of Famers. If he already had struggles with Hall of Famer, technically, if not top wide receivers in his own organization, and to go to another and just establish everything, man, he ain't Manning, he ain't Mahomes, he ain't Elway.
I agree with you. He's none of those guys. I agree with that.
Yeah, and so the fact that you're just thinking, the Jets are just going to be fucking, the number one team, so on and so forth, I just don't think that will happen. I think because of the year that the Bills have right now and transitioning to we've got to do something, we've got to win something, bam, 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 it's all on the line for the Bills. Last year was like considering, this is the year for us, blah, blah, with all the, signings, this and that. This is the year for the Bills, and the Bills are you better watch out. You better watch out.
Okay.
I'm just saying that. First game of the season last year, you guys, the Rams.
I know. Look, I got that wrong. I'll admit
As long
that,
as everybody stays healthy and, good to go and this and that, the Bills are going to be a team. I'm not going to lie. Watch out for that team. The Jets, once again, how many wins do you upgrade with Aaron Rodgers?
We'll get there.
It's one or two. Best case scenario, 3 wins, and that's it for me. So obviously, what was it? The Patriots, Miami, Jets, and then the Bills.
Okay. 4th place, I'm going to go Miami. I agree with what Caleb said. That basically, I can't count on Tua.
You're thinking on the injury aspect, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Say he was healthy, where would you have them?
If he was
3.
if he would have finished, if he was healthy last year, they would have made the playoffs. And I think
They still made the playoffs.
They made the playoffs, but
You think they'd just be more
I
competitive?
think they might have beat Buffalo if he's playing. So I don't know. Right now, I got to put him 4th just because I need to see Mike McDaniel do another year. I need to see Tua do it another year, and I need to see Tua stay healthy. I'm not going to be shocked if maybe they finish as the 2nd best team in that division. I think that's their ceiling. 3rd place, I'll go Patriots. Agree with what you guys said that basically I don't think under Bill Belichick they'll ever have a year where they're contending for the worst record in the league. That being said, I just think this team has a ceiling under Mac Jones. I think if this was the AFC from a couple years ago where there's a lot of wins you could get, I just think it's too tough.
That's
I
the
think
only reason why I put them at 4th because I'm like, it's Mac Jones.
yeah, and he's got a low ceiling.
Who?
Mac Jones.
Jones.
Who? Mac Jones. Yeah, I
just think Belichick's like, God.
I
God,
hate
how did
this
I
guy.
get stuck with this
God
guy?
damn.
They went 7-10 last year. I think they could maybe get 8 or 9 wins, but I just don't. That's the most. That's the very most. But
I'm thinking,
It may be-
6 or 5.
yeah.
I'm thinking 6 or 5.
second, I got the Bills, which obviously means first I got the Jets. So the reason why I have the Bills in second, I think they take a step back because I honestly they have Dalton Kincaid now, so that's an improvement. I'll give you that. But I think they lost some guys on defense. They still, I don't think, have solved their running back problem. Maybe they drafted somebody.
That's
but,
yeah.
yeah. And
that
here's,
sucks for
you remember
the
how
Bears.
you said like 30 minutes ago or an hour ago, you said you're worried, like you're like Geno Smith, you're like knock on wood, but like watch out, he's going to get hurt this next year. That's how I feel about Josh Allen. Because how many plays do we see Josh Allen where
Why are
he?
you guys predicting injuries?
I'm not saying I hope that, but I'm saying
Josh Allen's
Allen.
a lot tougher than him, though.
Oh, he's a bigger body for sure. I'm just saying that we have proven over time, guys like Cam Newton, whatever. If you're a guy that runs consistently, that's why running backs only last so long. But as a quarterback, if
But
you,
he's not Mr. Run. He's not Justin Fields.
no,
He's
that's
not Lamar Jackson.
That's not what I'm saying. But he runs enough where I am worried that basically, not like his leg's going to give out or anything like that. I'm worried he's going to take a hit, get a bad concussion, and he's going to end up not like Tua, because Tua stands back there and gets jacked up. I'm just saying, like, I'm worried about his long-term health playing the way that he plays
So listen to this.
with Josh Allen.
So listen to this.
And number one is the Jets.
Yeah.
No.
What?
It's the Jets, this
Yeah.
and that, and I don't mean to cut you off, but who would you compare Josh Allen to?
He's a more accurate thrower of the football than Cam, but he is like similar to Cam in the sense of he's kind of like a one-man show.
You wouldn't compare him to Big Ben?
Big Ben, I see similarities. Yeah, that's a good
I know
comparison.
you love Big Ben.
I do, but
I don't know where this is going.
Ben proved. I mean, granted, you could maybe say he had a better coach, better roster, whatever. But Ben
you
proved
look at
over
that-
time to be a consistent winner. And Josh Allen, he's winning, but to a certain level. He's getting to a certain. He's only been to one
I'll
AFC
give you
Championship
that.
game so far.
I'll give you that. Ben is a big, consistent winner. He had a lot of Hall of Famers on that defense, though. Troy Polamalu, James Harrison.
True. I'm not sold that Josh. I know you said that this is the year, and I get what you're saying. That basically, if they don't make it this year, they are going to look to retool around Josh Allen and go, okay, whatever we got isn't working. They'll shuffle the deck. But
It's just, I guess, the only to be devil's advocate to your is because Ireland's a bigger, if not more athletic than Ben Roethlisberger, and that's what he compares me. Every time I see Josh Allen, he's just a more athletic than Ben Roethlisberger.
Young Big Ben could move, but not like Josh Allen.
Right.
He wasn't hurtling over anybody or anything like that.
No, Josh Allen.
So the injury aspect of is all like.
Yeah, but
I don't see
Ben
that.
eventually
I don't see that.
Ben eventually just basically became a pocket passer, and Josh Allen is still in that. I can hurdle people. I can that tackle no
I think
problem.
Josh
I'll sharpen
Allen
it up.
is kind of he's unique because he's got the size of a Ben Roethlisberger
Or
or Cam Newton.
Yeah.
But what he separates is he's more athletic than Ben.
He's
ever
more athletic
was.
than
Way
Ben,
more,
and he's a better
way
passer
more.
better passer
than Cam.
than
Way
Cam.
more.
I know, but all I'm saying is, would we agree that maybe he doesn't run as much as Cam, but he runs a decent amount? I mean, he was their leading rusher in like almost every game.
Yeah, you got to.
It caught up to Cam, and granted, Cam, his arm, like he couldn't consistently throw the ball. He had that one good year, really. But I'm just worried that Josh Allen, he's going to take. It happens to everybody. You take a hit, a bad fall, whatever. Like,
Well, he had the weird thing with his elbow.
yeah,
Well, when Josh Allen runs compared to Lamar and all these other guys, Fields, this and that, Fields and them have like almost, like
The
perfected
blazing
the-
speed.
perfected
Yeah.
the
The
speed and the
slide.
slide.
yeah.
Getting out of
Allen will
bounds.
go in there.
Exactly.
He's like,
fucking
No,
put
that's
his head
Jeff. That's
forward.
exactly
Yes.
it. If he was
Yes.
running and then fucking diving,
That's the
then
only
I'd
thing
be
I
like,
will give you credit on.
yeah, he thinks he can run everybody over, and we've proven that no one can do that. No matter how good you are, the league the injuries just pile up and pile up and pile up. It's not meant. A human body is not meant to take those many hits and just be like, I'm all good.
I mean, it was for Cam until eventually.
Until it
he
wasn't.
Just got, he
Yeah.
just got too old.
Until it wasn't. Yeah.
He was,
So
what,
number
32?
one, I got the Jets. The reason is I think that defense is better than what Buffalo's defense is, and I think they're bringing back everybody. I don't think anyone's coming in with an injury. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that whole team's pretty much going to be healthy, at least
Well,
defense-wise.
the big question on defense
Big Von Miller.
is
Big Von Miller.
you're talking about the Jets, right?
yeah.
Oh, my bad.
Quinn Williams, he's not hurt, but he's not happy with this contract.
Okay.
So there's a lot of talk that he's going to hold out until he gets that contract, and I don't think that
they got a
they'll
chance to
trade
win
him.
the Super Bowl. I think he'll play.
Yeah, he's Orlando Brown Jr.
Yeah.
If he does go somewhere else, he's not going to get the contract that he wanted, and then he'll just fight this cause for no reason.
So basically, for me, I like the pieces that they added around Rodgers. I like what they did. They got Lazard. They got Randall Cobb. I think we all agree he's kind of a punchline at this point. But that being said, he's a guy that makes Aaron feel more comfortable.
But yeah, when you're on the same
that
page,
matters.
when
Yeah.
you're on the same page with someone and it's
Yeah.
3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, blah blah
Yeah,
blah. There's
Aaron
a
doesn't
whole-
need him
yeah.
to run a fucking 25-yard
Yes,
route all the time.
exactly.
Same thing
Yeah.
with Alan Lazard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's comfortability.
Yeah. So and then they got why can't I think of it? Garrett Wilson. They got Garrett Wilson. They got not Elijah Moore. They got Brees Hall coming back.
Yep.
He seems to be, from what I've heard, he's ahead of schedule as far as his recovery time. So he's.
Yeah,
I'm not saying he's Adrian
yeah.
Peterson, but like Adrian Peterson said, you guys think I'm going to be out? He's like, no, I'm making like week 1. I think he's trying to make week 1 to come back. So anyway,
Who's better though, him or Aaron Jones? I love Aaron Jones.
Brees Hall.
I would say I would only give
the catching aspect.
well, and I would give the edge to Brees Hall just for the fact of he's younger. Aaron Jones, pretty dang. That's hard. That's a hard.
I'm not gonna lie.
Right back
Third round,
Yeah.
if he's there in fantasy draft,
Yeah.
I'm drafting Aaron Jones because that motherfucker's gonna get so many carries,
Yeah,
and so
he
many
should.
fucking catches.
But I
From a
just
fantasy expert.
unless
yeah.
Chris changes the.
Yeah, last second.
I'm sorry. I didn't like the rules after week 1. I'm sorry.
No, I wasn't winning enough, so I had to change the rules.
right.
I probably did lose week 1, probably. But yeah, like for me, I just feel like the quarterback was the only thing they're missing. And like I said, they don't need a quarterback to throw for 5,000 passing yards. They just need a guy to not screw it up. I feel like Aaron's perfect. I feel like this is kind of a perfect storm. I think everything works. Robert Saleh gets to, instead of like having to really worry about the offense, he can kind of take a step back and really focus back on the defense. Anyway,
On paper, it's like, man.
I know. I know.
Super Bowl, but
Yeah. All right. So I got Jets. All right. What's the next division?
We're going to save the AFC West for last, so
the
we're going to head up to the north.
Okay.
We got the Bengals, the Browns, the Steelers, and the Ravens. Who wants to...
I'll start this one.
Go ahead.
Okay, so last place, I got the Steelers. It's not because I have anything against Mike Tomlin. I think Mike Tomlin's a great coach. It's not that. But this division's hard, and if I look at it, the Steelers still have some holes on certain places. That offensive line, they got who's the Broderick Jones? They drafted Broderick Jones. I like that pick, but they still need more help on the line, I think. And for me, I'm just having to stack Kenny Pickett up against these other guys, and I'm just not. I don't think kind of what we talked about with the AFC East. I don't think any of these teams are going to be awful. I just see the Steelers having like a certain ceiling, and unless Kenny Pickett comes out and he just balls out, but I haven't seen that yet. I see a decent starting quarterback, but I don't see anything that's like special with Kenny Pickett. So I'm not sold yet. So I got them fourth. Third, I got the Browns. I don't have anything against the Browns. I think if they were in a different division, I think they'd probably have better luck. But it's just going to be tough. I think a lot of these teams are just going to beat each other up. I'm just not sold. He didn't look that great last year when he came back, and it's like I need to see if you can get back to your form. Who did they add? They got another receiver alongside
Amari.
Amari. Yeah, who'd they get? They got somebody.
Ooh, I don't know.
They brought somebody in.
I didn't think it was nothing spectacular.
We'll get to that later. The Ravens, they brought in. I got the Ravens second. They brought in Odell Beckham Jr. Like that. Hopefully he brings in something. Lamar coming back. Hopefully he's happy with and Zay Flowers, and hopefully,
Oh, that's your other boy.
yeah, he liked him too. So hopefully they can, make Lamar happy, and hopefully that marriage works out long term. All that stuff. Number one, I got to give it to the Bengals until I see somebody prove that they're a better team, not only for regular season but just postseason play. I got to give the edge to the Bengals. I don't really feel like they lost. They lost some.
Elijah Moore.
Elijah Moore. They lost some guys in the secondary, but aside from that, I think they still did good in the draft. They did good. They got what was the guy from Clemson that they got, defensive end?
Oh,
Miles Murphy. They got him. That's a pretty good pickup because we were all wanting him if he fell a few more picks. But their offense still looks good to me. I think they still have. Are they keeping Joe Mixon as their running back? I think they still have.
as he stays out of,
Yeah.
this goes into the accusation.
Acquisitions. Or no, accusations. Yeah.
he's another. Yeah, Derrick Henry, all those other guys. This
Yeah.
and that. He could be traded. Who knows?
Well, their wide receivers are still great. Joe Burrow's still there. Their offensive line still like it's going to be able to protect him enough, and the defense looks like it, in certain aspects, might be improved with Miles Murphy, and then maybe they need to figure out who they're going to replace the secondary with. But I got the Bengals finishing first.
Do you trust that offensive line with Orlando Brown and blocking the blind side there? I mean,
I'm not going to say oh they're 100% golden. If I have to pick, I don't think any of these teams are. None of these teams are flawless, but if I have to pick somebody, I trust Joe Burrow and the Bengals more than I trust any of the other teams in that division.
yeah, it's just like I'm not gonna lie. I say that my job is looked better than what it was before.
Yeah.
So why not, the projection of them, if it was better than it was before, then why not be in that team 12, 13, 14 wins, so on and so
And
forth.
folks, that's government work for you.
All right, go ahead.
But, Browns number 4, 3 Steelers. Like you said, I guess more the aspect of Deshaun Watson, everything that he's going through. I don't think he actually picks it back up, which is kind of sad and it kind of sucks for the league. In the way of AFC, a lot of competition. Same thing with Pickett. I like Tomlin over the head coach at Browns, so I feel like they find more ways to win games, this and that with him and the defense, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to lie, I love Joey Porter Jr.
Yeah, that pick was.
Oh, I fucking just love that
That was
pick.
that was
great.
awesome.
The
Steelers.
Steelers did-
pick.
Steelers did great in the
hope
draft.
I am not gonna lie. I hope he becomes like the next, like just that.
Sauce Gardner, lockdown.
Not even Sauce, like Darrell or
Darrell Revis.
I don't even know how to describe it. Just like that hard hitter.
Yeah, I see him as like basically. He might not be able to shut everybody down with like no contact, but I see him as the guy like
Who's the guy from Seattle that used to be like a dominant?
Cam Chancellor.
Yeah, no, not
Richard
Richard
Sherman?
Well, there's Richard Sherman. Yeah,
Is it Sherman or is it? There was somebody else out there that was kind of
Earl
underrated.
Thomas. That
No,
was basically the Legion of Boom.
no, there was another.
There was another corner. I'm drawing a blank on who it was though.
But anyways,
Brandon Browner,
Yeah, something like that.
because he was the other guy.
But anyways, I love that pick. I love just like that organization and everything. Number 2, it's got to be the Ravens. I mean, so many injuries the past couple of years with whether Lamar, the halfbacks, this and that.
Is Lamar's relationship with the Ravens tainted? You would think not, because he just signed that huge contract. But
Even then, with the talent and everything
Yeah.
that they now, gave him, so on and so forth, with that team and everything like that. Hopefully now, we can see, because you kept Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews is a dominant tight end. Odell Beckham. Who'd you say your boy?
Zay Flowers.
Yeah, Zay Flowers, your boy.
And they still got
Your boy.
Yeah, I like Zay Flowers, and they still got Rashad Bateman out there too.
That's what I'm saying. Halfbacks are healthy, so on and so forth. But number 1, I think it's just an easy. It's
Who Day?
It's the Bengals. Joe Burrow, man. I mean, just that's our Super Bowl in the regular season. The Bills are the Super Bowl to the Chiefs in the regular season. That's our Super Bowl.
Yep.
And the Bengals might get one up on us once again. But when it comes down to the playoffs, man, that Bengals team is like literally top 5, if not borderline top 3 in the NFL.
Yeah,
to
they're
me,
extremely
so.
dangerous.
So I don't think anybody has made a move or anything.
To jump them.
Yeah,
Yep.
there's
Okay.
no way.
Yep. So this might be the first division that we are very, very similar on. So 4th place, the Browns. I can't.
Toxic work culture.
Yes, I just can't see that working out, and I don't want to say I'm excited that it's blowing up in the Browns' face, but I'm kind of like happy that it's blowing up in their face.
So real quick to that point, I'm not against Deshaun Watson to the point where I'm like he should never get another chance to play. As long as those women get compensated, they weren't raped, they were sexually assaulted. That's fair. Does he deserve some prison time or maybe something? Sure, but all I'm saying is like as far as his talent wise, I'd be happy if him getting another chance. The biggest thing I have a problem with is them trying to transcend the market and go fully guaranteed
Yes.
quarterback deals. So I like in that regard that it is blowing up in their face.
Yes, that's where I'm at with
That
that.
was a terrible.
Yeah.
God, there was. Oh God, who are these
We kept
guys?
hitting the palms with each other.
Yikes!
Okay, so you got Browns. Yikes.
Yikes! Yeah, so I got the Browns last. I think the Steelers are going to finish 3rd. I like what the Steelers are doing.
Yeah.
and
It's just tough because they're just in a bad. It's,
Yeah.
it's in a tough situation.
that might be.
Fuck, what the? Take a shot.
We'll get there.
What the fuck was that?
Wake up.
Well, we might be in a spot where the Steelers, even though they finished 3rd in the division, they might be a playoff team. They might be borderline playoff with 7 teams that are in there.
I mean, we'll get to that in a second, but I mean, yeah, this division obviously has the possibility of 3 teams making it.
Yeah.
Maybe even 4.
You're gonna see
would
that
be-
transition of that head coach, just like
Yep.
I think personally me with Bill Belichick. You can only do it for so long until you
Oh,
get.
you think Tomlin like only has so many years left?
Yeah.
I mean, he is younger than Bill, but I
unless
get what you're
they
saying.
unless they were number one, unless they traded up for the number one pick to revamp. I don't think you're going to revamp everything.
I
with
think he'd
Pickett.
look to walk away
With
if he was
Pickett.
just stuck in that we finish anywhere from.
It'll
7
be
to
like
9 and 8, whatever.
it'll be like a Philadelphia type thing where
Yeah.
it's like Andy Reid all over again. They're not winning. They're stuck in that 7 to 9 win range, and they're going to be like.
Or if they do make it playoffs, they don't win a playoff.
And then
game.
Mike Tomlin's going to go somewhere else, and he's going to have success, and he's going to win.
But he's going to go somewhere else where they actually have something built up.
For him.
Yeah.
Yep. Second, I'm going to go Ravens. Again, I think they're going to make the playoffs. They've got too much talent around them not to make the playoffs,
Yep.
especially if Lamar stays healthy for the whole year or even the majority of the year.
And same
It's
thing
been
with
a couple
Odell.
of years since he's been able
Same
to.
with Odell too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If Odell, gives you, say he starts off 3 or 4 weeks, and he gives you the rest of 12, 13 weeks, and he's healthy.
Yep.
That team's
I'm excited.
dangerous.
I'm excited
They're
for him to be
dangerous.
back in the league to see what he
Yep.
can do.
Yeah.
because he got gypped. Like he should have. He probably, if he didn't get hurt, would win Super Bowl MVP.
Well, like Caleb said, you still got Bateman, you still got Mark Andrews, you still got all the halfbacks.
And then you added more weapons too. So that team's got too much talent to not have a chance to be very successful.
Do we still love their defense? They
I-
lost Calais
I
Campbell.
feel like it's almost like the Steelers. It's like it's never going to be bottom.
Yeah,
bottom.
they're
It's never gonna be.
their basement is like 15th, 16th in
Yeah,
the
it's
league.
Fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And with that offensive power, 15th, 16th in the league is going to win you a lot of games.
Exactly.
And then we all agree and this is the first division that we have all agreed on to this point is the Bengals are going to win that division. Joe Burrow is the second
Besides
best
the next
quarterback.
division. Besides the next.
Yeah,
division.
I would hope, Chris.
What's up? Sorry?
Anyways, Joe Burrow's the second best quarterback in the league. They've got so much firepower on offense. Their defense is pretty solid as well. They may have lost a few pieces because they lost Jesse Bates and
Yeah, I think it was 2 safeties. I think they lost both their safeties.
but if you're going to lose a position,
Yeah,
safeties,
that's what I've been told. Is basically people are like, look, you're going to lose people, and if you got to lose somebody, that's probably the
Yep.
position. Yeah.
So I think the Bengals win that division. It's going to be close, but I think the Bengals win that division. So
There we go.
let's just move on right on in.
done.
It's time. I would love to go first on this
Go
one.
for it.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's go.
I'm going to start at the top and work my way down because I would
we
like
all
to
know.
think
We all know.
I would like to think we all picked the Chiefs.
All
here.
right. All right. All right.
I don't think I could do this podcast anymore.
Rich,
if that
Rich
happens.
Eisen, I think he learned his lesson. He won't be doing that again.
I am going to pick the Chiefs to win the division.
Okay.
Second place, the Chargers.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sold on Herbert to this point. I think he's going to be a good NFL quarterback, but can he make
Thank you, Caleb.
that big jump? And that's
Because
that,
people are putting him in that top 5
you
quarterback.
got you got to win some playoff games.
You got to show that you can overcome mediocre positions on your roster. You got to show that that's not going to bother me. I can make it past that. I
But
can overcome that.
they've given him another weapon this year. He's got probably one of the best receiver groups in
They
the
got 3 tall receivers that
Yeah.
all kind of do the same thing. But hey, maybe that'll work out.
Yep. So I like what they're doing out there on offense, and their defense is going to be good enough because they're going to score
Defense
a lot of
always
points.
has talent. They're always
Yep.
Yeah.
So Chargers finished second. Raiders finished third. Jimmy Garoppolo and Mike McDaniels are going to, win 5-6 games, and they're going to finish.
So you got Sean Payton in the basement.
I got Sean Payton in the basement solely because
You're done with Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson is cooked. Now, I'll say this. I will say this. If there was, and I said this in the Downtown Browntown episode that I did yesterday, is that if there was any coach that was available this year, not just talking like any coach, but if there was a coach that was available to be hired this year that's going to fix Russell Wilson, it was Sean Payton.
Yeah, you hired the best guy available by far. Yeah.
Yep. He's not going to be able to get the job done. Russell Wilson is just too far washed. He's too far gone. The guy that I saw play quarterback for the Broncos last year was trash. Absolute garbage.
You didn't see any flashes?
I didn't see enough flashes.
Okay.
You could find tape of any NFL quarterback, a starter, that shows you flashes. Zach Wilson showed you flashes.
Desmond Ritter didn't show me any flashes.
Anyways, you could find me flashes anywhere of
Okay.
anybody. PJ Walker showed me flashes.
Okay.
You know.
Wait,
So
he's out of the NBA playoffs. Who? PJ Walker.
No, these are,
Oh, Tucker.
Yeah, you're thinking of Tucker, yeah, yeah.
Like, wait a second. You're talking about NBA now.
just like corner threes. What the hell? Yes.
Yeah, I was like, wait.
anyways,
Anyways,
so
I'm an idiot.
yeah, I just don't see the Broncos winning a lot of games because I don't think Russell Wilson is the answer there, and I don't think Russell Wilson is going to be a serviceable starting quarterback in the NFL anymore.
Okay.
You want me to go, and then
Yeah,
you can
you
go
can go
last.
for it.
Okay. Obviously, Chiefs. Second, I think it's very, very tough. I think I'm thinking the opposite of you with Denver. I think Sean Payton, Russell Wilson has established himself. He's not Matt Ryan. You know what I mean? Matt Ryan has not won a Super Bowl. He's proven himself. He's won a Super Bowl.
Been to
He's
2 Super Bowls.
Yeah, exactly. So he's led himself. He's led a team. He's proven himself, so on and so forth. I think with I mean, what they still got Jerry Jeudy. They still got what's his name?
Cortland Sutton.
Cortland Sutton. It's
Tim
not
Patrick.
Yeah, it's not like as if they still got the halfback if he's healthy. Williams from North Carolina, couple 2 or 3 years ago. That team is a tough team. It's a tough team. The only team that literally at number 4 to me is instantly is Jimmy G. You're gonna rely everything on Jimmy G to just. The fact that you went from Derek Carr, that's a 4,000-yard passer. Jimmy G's never been a 4,000-yard passer in his fucking career.
That's correct.
Yeah. So the fact that you went from Derek Carr, that was actually an established, really good, blah, 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 quarterback, and if it wasn't for them benching him, he would have been, once again, I think 3-4 years in a row, a 4,000-yard passer. Going to Jimmy Garoppolo. And it's the same thing with Tua. Is Jimmy Garoppolo going to stay healthy? Is he going to be...
These are fair questions.
Yeah. The only aspect, and then Devontae Adams is already, you know what I'm saying, like pissed off.
He wants out.
Yeah, he wants out, this and that. So who knows if he gets traded, you know, the
I think they're going to quell that for 1 year. They're like, we'll see if this works,
Yeah.
and then if you're not happy, we'll look.
I think it's a dumpster fire. Josh McDaniels has been a head coach before, and he's been terrible. Besides I think it was Tim Tebow or something. He won.
Yeah, with the Broncos. Yeah,
Yeah,
he had a good start, but
Yeah, it's just been absolutely ridiculous with him. He's not an established head coach. Out of all the coaches, he's definitely the worst out of all of them, even compared to Nathaniel Hackett. I mean, I think, I would rather have Nathaniel Hackett.
You like Staley, Chargers coach? You like him?
Yeah, at least for the
Yeah, I'm with Brown.
at least for the momentum of being that 7th, that 8th, or whatever team to sneak in once again in the wild card.
You blew a 35-point lead in the playoffs.
What, was it 35?
I don't know if it was that much. It was like
it
27. They were up
wasn't.
27.
All right,
It was
sorry,
like a
27.
because it was 27-3, so it was a 24-point lead.
Okay, 24.
No, I thought they were at 27-0.
No, it was 27-3 at one point.
All right, cool. I won't even argue.
But once
24
again,
points.
But once again,
You know who the last coach was to blow a 24-point lead in the playoffs?
it was probably
Bill
the Tex-
O'Brien.
Yeah, it was the Texans against the Kansas City Chiefs.
I was going to say the
Yes.
Falcons coach Dan Quinn in the Super Bowl, but yeah, you're right.
Well, and then I think that one was technically 22 or 23, whatever the Falcons.
25, 20-3.
Yeah, 28-3.
Yeah. Okay, so you got 4th place is the Raiders for you, 3rd place is the Chargers, 2nd place Broncos, 1st place Chiefs, right? Right?
If I have to make a decision right now, right here, because like you said, Brandon Staley is the only factor that makes me want to put the Broncos at 2nd.
Well, I thought you did put the Broncos 2nd. Maybe I'm wrong.
I'm teetering.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? 2nd and 3rd place, it's Chargers and Broncos.
Gotta pick-
I'll put that.
No, you got to pick. You got to.
Oh, no.
We'll revisit this in August. You'll get a chance to redo this if you want to, but as of right now, you got to pick somebody. 2nd place.
Chargers, Broncos.
That's come on, dude.
That's not that.
It's the same.
Come on, Jeff.
That's not a team.
Come on, dude.
No, I said, yeah, that's what I meant.
Oh,
Chiefs,
Chargers,
Broncos,
okay,
Raiders.
okay.
Yeah, the only difference I think we had was what? Raiders and Broncos.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. For me, 1st place Chiefs. We've all established that. 2nd
Woo!
place. 2nd place. I'm gonna go Broncos. They got the defense. They got the defense. They have some receivers. They got a quarterback that. Now I agree with you. If Sean Payton can't do it, nobody can do it.
Right.
If this doesn't work,
It's
he's done.
It's weird how Pete Carroll, throughout the years of Seattle, him playing there, this and that, and having so much success.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he just fall off the mat. Like I said, we're not talking about Matt Ryan,
Yeah.
where it was you don't have the experience, you don't have this and that. Granted, Matt Ryan's borderline, Hall of Famer. It's just that ring that he's probably missing. But in the same sense, yeah, Russell has more Yeah.
So here's what I heard. The rumor that I heard was that when Sean Payton was interviewing for the Broncos, because he was in such high demand, it was more like he was interviewing them. And, don't get me wrong, I think he was still being courteous, but he asked to meet Russell Wilson before he accepted the job. He met him.
in his office, in his own.
Well, not only did they meet,
In Russell Wilson's personal office.
Yeah, right.
I think that's going away, but what
Right,
he
just
did,
has Sierra dancing in the background.
he asked if he could see Russell Wilson throw
I
the
might
ball.
visit that office.
He asked if he could see Russell Wilson throw the ball. According to the rumors, Russell Wilson, they went out to the practice field, and basically he just watched Russell Wilson throw it to some receivers. He had to make sure that Russell Wilson still had the arm strength to do it, and Russell Wilson passed his tests. So all I'm saying is he made sure that was a thing before he took the job. I think if he didn't see, like you said, if Russell Wilson was washed as far as arm strength, I think he wouldn't have taken that job.
I think where Russell Wilson is not there is
you think
between
it's just
the ears.
Might be. You might be right.
Yeah, and yeah, you could be right in the factor of that's why we're going to get all these picks wrong. But in the same sense, at least Russell still has the capability. He knows how to read something. It's not like all of a sudden that just fell off. Like he just can't read.
Yeah.
He's not Sam Darnold out there seeing fucking ghosts or whatever.
Seeing ghosts.
Seeing ghosts. You know what I mean? It's like I think that's what it just took for that organization. Granted, it blew up really bad because I think, like we talk about, the coaching aspect. You know what I mean? Like it's
So Nathaniel Hackett was not a leader of men. So I think that's
he was nothing.
So
Right.
just tell me you don't have the Raiders.
You have the Raiders last.
Nope, I have the Raiders third.
What?
Hear me out. Under Jimmy G, because McDaniels wanted Jimmy G basically the whole time.
Did you just pick the Chargers for?
Look, there's a lot of deer.
You know what? LeBron wanted a lot of guys on his team too, and he never won championships.
Okay,
but-
well, I think the Raiders, I like what they did in the draft. They took a stud with Tyree Wilson. They're
You guys
taking
want
a
dinner?
chance.
I'll go get my crossbow.
I don't have my rifle on me, but yeah.
I am hungry.
Yeah, I'm hungry too. But no, I like what they did. They got Michael Mayer, which was a tight end that we were all high on.
Yeah.
They managed to get him to replace Darryl Waller, which they got draft picks for. And I like it better, honestly, because
I'm not mad or upset that you're picking, and I don't mean to interrupt you. I'm not upset that you're picking the Chargers third, or that you're picking the Raiders third.
someone's got to finish last.
I'm just mad that you're picking the Chargers fourth.
Here's the reason. I think Staley is going to prove again that he is not the best decision maker. And I think halfway through the season, people are going to start in that locker room. It's not that they don't have the talent to finish highly. I think this locker room will start to tear itself apart where they turn on him. Because they pretty much did, if I remember correctly. Didn't, not Mike Williams, who's the other guy? Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen.
Wasn't he sitting out and he was openly questioning the coach, on Twitter?
No,
he
I
was.
thought-
Yes, he did. He
I thought
did.
He was just injured all the time.
No, he was injured, but I'm saying he was on Twitter being that wasn't a great call. Like, that already exists in that locker room, I think.
Yeah.
Where people are not sure if this is the guy. I think they like him. I think he's a nice guy. But do you need a nice guy to be your coach, or do you need someone that's going to get in people's...
Dan Campbell.
Yeah, or
Here we
Mike
are
Vrabel.
again.
Yeah. So it's not that I think they're going to be terrible. Someone's got to finish last in this division.
I think I just feel like the talent outweighs way more than what the Raiders talent have right now.
I get
If it was Derek Carr still, I'd be all like, man, I'm questioning because him and Devontae Adams running it back another year.
I get what you're saying,
Josh
but
Jacobs.
I need to see Justin Herbert deliver in clutch moments. I need to see that.
I just don't think there's the handful of games that you had where what was the one I think it was against Denver where you saw Carr getting almost sacked and throwing it up, and it was the game winner, Devontae Adams running into the end zone.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
not going to see Jimmy G do that. You're going to have to see a more.
I think because my biggest
See him
knock with
underthrow the ball
my
by
biggest
20
my
yards.
biggest knock with Derek Carr is that he throws on his tippy toes. So he does everything off his tippy toes, and Peyton Manning's the only guy I've ever seen that doesn't play with his heels down, and it works for him. But everybody else, when they do that, Derek Carr is always, if you watch him and he's throwing a ball, it's like, oh, that's a little off. Well, why is that a little off? He doesn't set his feet when he throws, and it's weird. Watch him throw.
So
Weird.
You're starting a franchise over. You got one quarterback to sign, Jimmy G, Derek Carr.
Yeah, I'm not a Derek Carr guy. I'm just not.
You're picking Jimmy G.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not a Derek Carr guy.
Okay.
Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to go Raiders third, Chargers fourth. It's nothing against the Chargers, but someone's got to finish fourth, and I like the Raiders' moves. Chargers out. Quentin Johnson, that's cool, but I think he's meant to
It's
replace
like saying
Keenan
no
Allen.
offense, but I'm going to say this.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, it is what it is. But
Sorry, not sorry.
anyway, that's it. Yeah.
So let's wrap up this segment, and then we can move to some other talks. Let's wrap it up with Super Bowl predictions.
Well, I want to see like our routes to the Super Bowl as of right now. Who do we have?
So I'll go first with who my 2 Super Bowl teams are. I think the Chiefs are going to be back there.
Okay.
Is it realistically you think the Chiefs, or is it more of the bias?
No, I think it's realistic.
Realistic? Okay.
Yeah. I think when you look at who's going to be fighting with them for that, jockeying for that position, it's going to be the Bengals and the Bills, and maybe the Jaguars are going to be right up there with them. Chiefs have shown that they can beat any of those teams.
Can we do a champion? I want your championship games and then Super Bowl. I'm not asking for the earlier rounds.
Championship games,
Like
what do you mean?
who you have the last 2 teams in each conference, like what the championship matchup's going to be, and then the Super Bowl matchup.
Sure. So I think in the AFC, you're probably looking at. I'm going to go Bills and Chiefs.
Okay.
I think that the Bills get the edge over the Bengals in the previous round, so that brings the Bills into the AFC Championship against the Chiefs. And what will this be, the 6th year that the game will be hosted at Arrowhead? 6 in a row?
If it holds true.
So the Arrowhead Invitational will be between the Chiefs and the Bills. The Chiefs win that game.
Okay.
And in the NFC, I will go. We're going to have an interdivisional matchup in the NFC Championship game between the Cowboys and the Eagles.
I figured that's where you're going.
And can you imagine what hype that game will get?
So you have the Cowboys making it to the NFC Championship.
I do.
Okay.
Can you imagine the hype around that game if
Oh
that
yeah,
happens?
it'd be insane.
Oh man.
Yeah.
And I've got a surprise pick here. The Cowboys are going to win that game.
I'm proud of you though, because you're not just going chalk. Like that's a bold pick. Yeah.
And it'll be the Chiefs and the Cowboys in the Super Bowl, and the Chiefs win.
Because Dak hits a roadblock and is like, "Oh crap! You need me to score more than like 15 points in a playoff game." Yeah. Okay, Jeffrey.
Yeah, even though I love the upside of just what the Bills are trying to do, it's that time, blah blah blah. A lot of contracts being played for, and it's up to figure this out until it's too late. It's still the Bengals. It's still the Bengals and Chiefs to me. Granted, the Bills are just always going to be that team, and it sucks. You know what I'm saying? They got to make that move. It's that time for them. They got to do something. Too many uncertainties with Stephon Diggs, this and that, chemistry. They don't have a halfback, this and that. It's going to be the Bengals and Chiefs once again, and then it's going to be, I'm not gonna lie, I like Caleb's pick. I love the Cowboys and the Eagles. I think the Eagles actually take a step back. They take that sophomore kind of slump from being in the Super Bowl, and it's going to be the 49ers and Cowboys
In the championship game?
Yeah, and actually, realistically, kind of hopefully, it's going to be the Cowboys.
You guys both have the same pick.
I've been calling it for a while now, just because of how the Cowboys are and this and that. I think it's going to be Cowboys and Chiefs. It's going to be,
Okay, and Chiefs winning?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You guys, wasn't required for you to do it, but I put my teams, like the seedings, so I want to go through that real quick. On the NFC,
Extra credit.
yes, on the NFC, so I have the Rams as the 1 seed. So, yeah, I know, exactly. Yep. I have the Rams as the 1 seed, the Lions as the 2 seed, Cowboys 3 seed, Bucks 4th.
I ain't drunk enough for this.
Eagles 5th, 49ers 6th, Vikings 7th. Okay, so in the NFC, the way I have the bracket going, Rams would get the bye. Lions Vikings first round matchup in Detroit. I got Lions winning that. Cowboys 49ers first round matchup. That's in Dallas. I got the Cowboys winning that. Okay, Bucks Eagles first round matchup. Philly would be on the road because in my thing the Cowboys won the division. I have Philly winning against the Bucks. Okay, so then second round it would be Philly versus the Rams. I got the Rams winning because I'm high on the Rams this year, so I would have the Rams.
Wow.
And then second round, Lions Cowboys in Detroit. I got the Lions getting revenge for their 2014 game where they should have won and they didn't.
There's
I know
no
it's
way.
nobody on their rosters
You're
there.
not
to
going
go
to say it.
So NFC Championship game, I got Rams Lions. It's
What?
yep.
You have the Lions going to the Super Bowl?
No, the championship game, and then I have the Rams winning that game.
Oh.
So the Rams in the Super Bowl back at it again. Stafford, I know this doesn't mean anything, but Stafford, he talked about that basically after watching the Super Bowl, he was like, I want to do everything to get back to that game.
Yeah.
Okay, in the
I would
AFC,
want my quarterback to say that no matter who it is.
in the AFC, I got the Chiefs as the
Probably
1
doesn't
seed.
want to,
Chiefs in the
throw
1 seed.
some bitch off a stage again.
Jets
too.
as the 2 seed, Bengals as the 3, Titans as the 4 seed because I had them winning the division. Broncos 5th, Bills 6th, Raiders 7th. Okay, so the first round I'd have Raiders going to the Jets, Jimmy G versus Aaron Rodgers rematch of like their battles. Jets winning that one. Bills, Bengals. That's the first round matchup in Cincinnati. I got the Bengals winning that. Titans, Broncos first round matchup. I got the Broncos winning a playoff game, so they win. Yeah, and then for the next round, Broncos go to Arrowhead, divisional round. We win. Bengals go to New York. Jets win. AFC Championship game, Chiefs, Jets in Arrowhead. Chiefs win. Super Bowl matchup, Chiefs, Rams. Stafford gets his wish that he makes the match at Super Bowl. Chiefs win the game.
Well, you're wrong on everything but the Chiefs.
So you're wrong.
Thanks for entertaining it, though.
I'm not gonna. I felt like Doctor Strange in the multiverse.
Was it at
trying
least?
to think out the possibilities?
It wasn't
I'm
entertaining.
not-
It wasn't entertaining.
Oh, I'll say it was entertaining.
Oh,
all
yeah,
right.
it definitely was. If I was playing Madden,
Okay, but like, do you guys? Can we say this? If I actually get like the Rams making it to the, at least to the NFC Championship game, can I get like a couple shots out of you guys? Meaning like
well, fuck
you guys will
you
drink
can get
shots.
a whole goddamn steak dinner.
I don't need that, but
If the Rams make it to the NFC Championship game,
Yeah.
I'll go in on that steak dinner.
Yeah,
You'll be like, all
we'll
right.
go to side wherever you want, and we will.
Yeah,
pay
we
for
will
dinner.
pay for everything
Yeah.
if the
Okay,
Rams make
You
it.
think I'm crazy that Detroit could make the NFC Championship
Yeah,
game?
Yeah,
you're
I-
absolutely.
know,
If they make it,
you can
then
have
you know
Ruth
what? I'm
Chris.
flying
But I have-
you to fucking
yeah.
whatever country.
Wherever they're at, you can go watch them in the
but
NFC
like-
Championship
but like I
I'm
game.
said-
flying.
Like I said, you have matchups where like the Cowboys Niners would face each other in the first round. Someone's got to go. Someone's got to go. Like only one team can win that game. Eagles, Cowboys are
I'm not buying what you're selling.
okay. Fine. Fine.
All right, Girl Scout, I don't want no more cookies. But hey, the Chiefs.
Oh, are we?
Hey,
taking
I'm
a
the
shot?
I'm the crazy one. They got the
Yeah.
Cowboys making it to the
Are
Super
we
Bowl,
doing
but I'm the
another
crazy one.
segment?
Yeah,
After this,
yeah,
pause it. And
yeah, we'll pause it after this.
'Kay.
Chiefs Super Bowl.
Chiefs.
Cheers.
All right, thanks for joining us for segment 1 of episode 5. We'll be back with more.
What a long segment.